Hello, good morning, everybody. Hi, how you doing today? Whew, what a morning. It looks like Carlos has got some emergency school stuff with the kids. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Something's changed. This is my first time hosting the show in a while, and the stream deck I rely on, nothing's working. So none of the buttons seem to do what they're supposed to. So I got a problem, and I didn't have any time to fix it. So we are here, and I was like trying to cut screens. Nothing's cutting. So we may have a lot more static screens today than we normally do, because I got to find where the heck they are. Let's see. Some of them are working. There you go. Look, I can get the gappers list. That's good. Let's see what else. I can get the economic calendar. I can get my face. Okay. It's just some of them that apparently are not working. So we're going to figure it out one way or the other. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a partner in crime here this morning. Carlos can join on Zoom if he's out there. I see someone joined who's not really supposed to be in the meeting, but oh well. But there they are. In any event. So yeah, Gary's connected, but I've got no camera. So he might need to, maybe I need to disconnect him. Let me try and disconnect him, and then we'll reconnect the meeting. So anyways, guys, hey, I hope you're keeping warm with the weather out there. Again, the sort of storm continues. I'm hoping it's going to abate over the next couple of days. I think that would be good for everybody. I can tell you here, I mean, in the last, something like in the last 50 days, where I am, we've had over 40 of snow. It has snowed on 40 of the 50 days since the beginning of December. It's crazy. It's just amazing how much snow we got. So, but what we're here is to talk about the markets, and we got stuff that's happening in the markets. As you can see, we got a pretty robust gappers list. A bunch of stuff that's moving down, a bunch of stuff that's moving up, and we've got some earnings as well to talk about. So we're going to get into all of that and talk about what's happening out there in the world, so that we could figure out what our targets are for trading. Yesterday, in our trading session, I was one and done. If you guys were live with us here, I took a trade at 9:45 short on NVIDIA, and I sold. I finally got out of the trade altogether at 1 second to the, well, 2 seconds actually to the close. So I literally held it until the final bell, and it turned out to be a great trade. I added several times over the course of the day, you know, one and done type thing. So love it, love it, love it. All right. So other than the gappers list, let's take a look at the economic calendar. Not a lot happening today. We are expecting the Case-Shiller Home Price Index to come out, and consumer confidence, those are at 9 and 10 respectively. Neither one of those, oh, look at this. Neither one of those really have a big impact on the market. And I realize you're not even looking at my face. So I can't even figure out where this screen is to make the necessary changes. In any event, all right. We're gonna have a couple of little teething problems here this morning. So let's get going. Let's get going and look at this gappers list, because the gappers list has got some stuff. Again, you know, guys, over the last little while, this gappers list has not really given us a lot of really great stuff, has it? Like, we go through it every morning. But it hasn't yielded a lot of good targets, but we'll keep trying here. We'll keep looking at it and see what we can get. Starting with the thing that's at the top of the list in NAMM. So let's take a look at oops, and I've got to actually be able to type it in, NAMM. And Once again, guys, doing like double duty. I got to get the stock up. I've got to figure out what's happening. This thing is up 26% this morning. I see it looks like it seems to be hard to borrow, which means you cannot short this thing. And I got to figure out the news. So this is look at this. Namib Minerals, which is a gold company out of the Cayman Islands. It is a low float. I mean, I see 4 million shares in the float. So this is not going to get us very far today. If you like low float movers, this could be the day for it, because it's certainly been on a run for the last week. It looks like pretty much all of last week. And then, of course, it's continuing today. Now, it's still, that being said, despite it running, this was a stock that was trading under $1 a week ago. So I think we all need to keep that in mind and remember that. You may look at it now and say, oh, yeah, it's not bad. It's a $5 stock. Yeah, it's only recently a $5 stock. So it's got decent volume at 3.6 million shares. And you've got to, got to just be careful in this, guys. I'm getting like a million messages here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with everything and the messages, and it's too much. Anyways, hold on. Carlos is messaging me. I have disconnected and reconnected several times. Gary, if you're out there and you can hear me, you need to try and disconnect and reconnect. Gary needs to disconnect and reconnect. Hold on. I'm trying to... Anyways, okay, we'll see if he can do that, and then I can get him in here because, again... he's probably stuck in an old meeting. So, all right. So that's the first one. Didn't like it. Let's move to the second one on the list, which is NTLA, which we have seen before. This is not a new ticker to us. It's been on the list a couple of times. Up 22%, 1.5 million shares. And NTLA is, not, well... I mean, it's another low float, but at least it's different news. Actually, it's not a low float. I see 109 million shares in the float, which is a little bit better than so we were seeing on the mining stock. And this is a biotech, Intellia Therapeutics, a biotech that it looks like they have FDA approval to go forward with the trial. I remember this now. This Magnitude 2. Phase 3 trial, which had been put on hold by the FDA. Looks like they've released that hold and giving them the go-ahead. So that's always good news. You can see when that news hit this morning, the stock jumped and it's moving higher. I think that it's definitely in play. This one is both. You can short it and go long. Let's see what it's done in the daily. Yeah, I mean, it's been up a couple of times. I said I remember this having been on our list over the last little while. And sorry guys, and it's very active. Gary, try and say something. Do I have a Gary? I don't seem to have a Gary at all. I've got no voice. I've got no camera. It shows I'm connected. Just checking. Checking settings I know what to do with. I don't want to start changing too much. Well, whatever's going on. It ain't working. Looks like you got just me today. We're going to have to make it work. All right. So that's number 2. If you like it, we've got 2 low floats here. I don't really love either one, to be honest, but you guys know I'm not a big fan of these low floats. They can provide great trading opportunity. We talk about this all the time, right? It just doesn't happen to be a trading style that either Carlos or I typically ascribes to. So, just because we don't trade it doesn't mean you can't find good trading. So that's why we'll keep mentioning them. I'd be curious out there. Let me know if you guys like to trade these things, because I don't, we tend to stick to a pretty limited group of stocks, right? The tech stocks, the stuff we know that gets volume, and some consistency, pattern consistency. right, which is important to us. But there's lots of other things out there that can provide good trading strategic opportunities if you know what you're doing. All right, the third one on the list here is Redwire, RDW, Redwire Corp, which has got a ton of volume, 8.7 million shares traded this morning. Again, not a low float. It's got 85 million shares in the float, and it's up almost 15%, and it was up more this morning as it hit a high of just over $13, now sitting at $12.58. It looks like, again, they got some good news. This morning they released a statement, the company statement, that said they've been selected for the Missile Defense Agency's multi-vendor SHIELD IDIQ contract. So this is a big contract that's got... Now, they love to release the ceiling on these contracts. Now, always be careful with these things, right? So the contract ceiling on this is $151 billion. That's billion with a B, $1 billion. So, name that movie. Anyways, but that doesn't mean that's how much money is going to be awarded, how much money they're actually going to get, right? That's the maximum that the government has allowed to be issued in contracts. They could issue contracts as small as $500,000, right? But I'm assuming when you're doing a missile defense contract, it's probably going to be substantial. And for Redwire, a company they had $296 million worth of sales last year. This is a big deal. So, the good news for Redwire, this is probably, more tradable to the type of stuff that I like. And I think that it might provide an opportunity for us to trade. So, I don't know whether it's something that I'm going to spend a lot of time on, but it's a potential. So I'm going to put it on the list here. And that reminds me, I've got to get the list up here on the screen for you guys. Here we go. Oh, that's fire. No, we don't need that. All right. Whoops. Wrong button. Can you tell, guys? I'm struggling with it, but I'm on fire. All right. Here we go. Let's get back here to our charts. So Redwire is a potential. I'll put it on the secondary list. We will see what we can get out of it. All right, what else is going on the Gap Up list? Well, we got a ton of stuff as things are bouncing all over this list. Next on my list is ASPC. ASPC is not looking all that good. It's only got 360,000 shares traded so far this morning. I like to look at 1 minute charts. I know Carlos typically looks at a 5 minute chart for you guys. I like at the one because it tells me where, if it's got consistent. Because if you look at a 5, sometimes it can look like there's more activity than there really is. The one really tells me is their minute by minute activity. And when you get these straight lines, see these little straight lines? I can really tell. Look, this minute, 176 shares were traded. 100 shares were traded. So like one person traded 100 shares with one other person. So anyways, I don't like the price action on it. If I look up the news here, this is an acquisition shell company. Usually we don't have any idea why these things move anyway. So I'm just going to move on for this and move to the next one on that Gappers list, which is GLW. GLW's got 400,000 shares. Now the price action looks a little better, but still not great. Again, at 400,000 shares, it's just barely big enough to make our list. This is a Corning Inc. Oh, that's interesting. Looks like they have signed a deal with Meta to get up to $6 billion for fiber optic cables to connect all of its AI data centers. So that's a good. Now Corning is a pretty big company. They had about 14.9 billion in sales last year. But a $6 billion contract, especially with Meta, because unlike a lot of contracts, like that government contract we were just talking about, you're pretty sure a Meta contract is likely to go to the maximum award amount, and often they go over. Meta's not hurting for cash. Their approval process is... Actually, I'm presuming their approval process is probably a lot simpler than a government procurement process. So, they can order things without the bureaucracy, and if they need more, they will just get more, right? They're not as price sensitive. So that's good news for Corning here. I like the news. This is a decent news. The price action is not great. So I don't know if this is one that really I want to spend a lot of time looking at. It's a potential. But I'll put it on the list here. What the heck, right? Because at least it gives us something to look at. I seem to be putting things on the list that have W's in them. Maybe I like W's today. But next on the gappers list, you guys can see here, we've got a couple that are familiar. And the one familiar one we got here is qubits, as I like to call it. D-Wave is on the list, and it's moving, well, fairly well today. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys were watching Quantum yesterday. Let's take a look at a 5-minute chart on that. But it had some interesting moves. It looked like it was going to shoot higher at the open, and then reverse course and just sort of dropped all day. So I did like Quantum yesterday. I think I mentioned that I was keeping an eye on them. I didn't end up trading them. Basically, again, when you get this one and done type trade, right? When you get that great opportunity, sometimes it's good to stick with the trade that you're already in. So I just kept focusing on that and adding to it. But they did have an announcement today that apparently Wave has a $20 million agreement with the Florida Atlantic University to purchase. The Florida Atlantic University is purchasing a quantum computer. So that's interesting. They are going to. I don't know. They're going to put it at its Boca Raton campus. So that's cool. So if you're at the Florida Atlantic University, you're going to get access to a D-Wave quantum computer. By the way, D-Wave also announced that they're going to relocate their headquarters. That's interesting, to Boca Raton. I wonder if there's any relation in those things right now. Here, sorry guys. Hold on. Texting with Gary. Gary, I don't know if you can hear me, but you should be able to hear and see me in Zoom. If you can't hear and see me in Zoom, then there's a problem with the Zoom meeting. And so maybe I'm not properly connected. We've had this problem before. It could be me. Let me try and get out again. All right. We've had this issue where I'm not logged into Zoom properly, and therefore we just can't get it to work. This is the problem when you do things for one day. It really sort of messes everything up. All right, we'll try and keep going here. Let's take a look at what else is on the gappers. I think. Oh, it's interesting. Oh no, yeah. CRMV. Whoa. There's a dude walking beside my house. Sorry. CoreWeave. CoreWeave's up on our list here. And it looks like logged in as Carlos. So that's good. I am connected to Zoom as Carlos. That's the way it's supposed to be. Oh my goodness. All I can do is disconnect and reconnect again. Oh no, what have I done? It is. I'm trying to manage too many streams of activity. And not logged in. All right, let's try and log in again here. Login process completed. All right, so now connect. All right. Anyways, CoreWeave. Let's see what we got here. CRWV. What does it look like this morning? Looking a little better than it did yesterday. Hey, look at that. It actually worked. Looks like I got Gary into the meeting. So he's in the right spot. Let's see. There he is.
Oh, hey, Peter.
There you go. Can you guys hear Gary? Hopefully you can. Yes? No? Yeah? No?
Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you can.
I can hear Gary. Hold on a sec. Maybe it's my set. Let me just check here. Carlos, enable the
All right, great.
No, in the chat room you can't. Hold on a sec. Camera 8. Looks like you're enabled. Microphone is on. Everything is connected. Good.
Peter, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine, but I'm getting you through the feed here. So say something else. Let's see if we can hear you.
I think people can. People said yes, and I can see myself on YouTube, so I guess we are good.
Right.
All right.
So you're not hearing you in the chat room. Hold on. Let's see if you guys can hear me, hear Carlos.
I think, Peter, we are good to go. That's what I see on the chat room. People can hear me.
Yeah, they can't hear you. So sometimes it's the chat room settings because I do have to like reset everything, and or it won't pick up the right settings. Hold on a sec, guys. Make sure I've got the right settings. Yes, I do. Yes, Peter. No, Gary. One sec, guys. We'll be right back. Sorry, guys. I got to try and enable the chat room for those on YouTube. Bear with us. This is, part of the stress of running a show like this, especially when you weren't anticipating it. I have to say, Carlos actually gave me enough time. He let me know about 6:30 this morning that he wasn't going to be here, but I was cycling my butt off at the gym at the time and dealing with the bank. Here's a weird story for all you guys on YouTube. I went this morning to the bank and I was taking out money because I'm going to Aruba, and Aruba they use like US cash. So I was taking some US dollars, and I got a bill that was like pretty much cut in half. I got half a bill. So I get this half bill and I'm like, well, it's not legal tender and I can't spend it. So let's see. In the chat room, we're back. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. We'll have to see if you can hear Gary. Can you guys say something, Gary?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So you got half a bill or you got two halves?
Well, I only got one half. Nope, still no Gary. Sound of silence. That's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. Why they can't hear you on in the chat room. It should all be enabled properly. As far as I know.
But some of them are saying they can hear both of us. The YouTube is saying they can hear Gary.
If you're on YouTube, you can hear Gary. If they're in the chat room, they can only hear me. So sorry, guys, in the chat room, it looks like you're only getting half the picture. All right. I don't know why. I think I'm doing it all right the way we normally do. So anyway, so yeah, I went to the bank this morning. I got half a bill, and I'm like, well, I can't. It's not legal tender. I can't spend this legal tender. So I tried to redeposit it. I said, well, you guys gave it to me. I'm just going to give it back. And I put it in the machine, and they said, no, we don't accept RIP bills. And I'm like, what? So I tried it again, and then it took the bill, and it just said, sorry, error, and it took the money, and it gave me nothing. I'm like, what the hell? It's just. You can't just take the money. Like, I got no receipt. I got no confirmation. I got nothing. Anyways, so that was all frustrating this morning. So I was dealing with that, and I was not seeing Carlos's message to say that he was not able to join this morning. So apologies for that. Okay, let's try and keep going here, guys. If you're in the chat room, just know you're going to hear me. Apparently, you can't hear Gary for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason for that is, so we'll have to just deal with it here and try and get things going. So CoreWeave again up about 5% this morning, 1 million shares traded, so we got some good volume. CoreWeave can be a decent trader. It has traded well over the last little while. Yesterday it had a sort of an okay day. The drop on it was sort of decent in terms of its management. A little choppy at the open. I really didn't like the way it was trading in the opening 20 minutes because I know I was taking a look at that. That's why I ended up settling on what I traded, but not CoreWeave. But I was watching it. It's could be worth watching here this morning. Gary, I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at any news. Do you know any news why CoreWeave might be moving?
No, there is no specific news on Corby, but this stock is in play. It's essentially the next layer, and on it. So I think as long as the stock holds 100, we have a potential for 107, 108. But I would want to see a recheck of pre-market low and R3 levels before I'm thinking along on that. That's how I'm thinking about CoreWeek. It's something I traded yesterday. It's something I traded a couple of days before, but this is definitely a stock in play, and I'm looking for it eventually to go back to 125, 130 levels. I don't know how long that takes, but I'm long biased on that name.
All right, so we're frustrating everybody in the chat room because, of course, they can't hear you. AJ posted a Bloomberg article that says NVIDIA invests $2 billion more in CoreWeave. So that's
Yeah, that was
that's
yesterday's news, I think.
all right. Well, that's so. Anyways, that's yesterday. Okay, so that's some news from yesterday. It might cause some continuation in the movement of CoreWeave. It might be worth watching. I mean, CoreWeave can be decent. I'm going to put it on the list here, and we'll keep an eye on it. Let's go back to the gappers list, guys. I'm going to keep working on it again. I'm not sure why you can't hear it in the chat room. Gary seems fully enabled. Everything looked normal, so I'm not sure. In any event, but what else we got in the gappers? I noticed that we got Mike. Well, let's go with GM because GM actually had earnings this morning. It was one of the ones that I was taking a look at. I know that from looking it up, they actually beat their numbers in the quarter. They typically don't trade very well pre-market. I'm actually surprised to see 1 million shares on the stock because it doesn't really. I mean, look how flat it is, right? It really doesn't look like it's done much so far today. Although that being said, right, we had a big range, of course, because of the after-hours trading. So if we look at this early this morning when you got the announcement, it jumped up and made a big move, and then it's just sort of gone flat ever since. So looks like GM had some decent opportunity. Gary, I'm not sure whether to allow you to say the news or not, because again, I don't want to annoy everybody in the chat room too much. But it looks like they let's see, they authorized a $6 billion share repurchase program, and and the 2025 tariffs have cost them over $3 billion that cut their margins. So they'd already put that into their forecast, so they knew that. But they're saying that basically they have. Oh yeah, thanks guys. They're saying that they have had to absorb $3 billion in the tariff costs to be able to keep their prices and keep competitive. So clearly they're not happy about that as they're disclosing that in their core financial information. However, again, it was forecasted, so maybe the stock can do well. GM is, again, it's a tough one. If you want to trade it, just understand that it's going to be it's not going to trade with a huge range. Generally, it doesn't. And it's a NYSE stock. So anything on the New York Stock Exchange, typically you got to absolutely wait for the volume to come in because it doesn't come in right at the opening bell, right? A lot of stuff it does. Anything that is in the New York Stock Exchange, you've got to wait and see the big volume. Like you'll know when it hits. It's usually pretty obvious. You suddenly get this massive influx of volume, much higher than what you would get in the previous couple of minutes. Because often it doesn't happen in the first minute or two. Whereas a Nasdaq stock, often the biggest volume of the day is that first minute, right? And you can tell exactly what's going on. So don't get fooled by these NYSE stocks. I know
So
that.
Peter,
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I asked folks in the chat room to come to YouTube, and then just make it simple that way.
All right. Well, that would help. So we'll see again. Apologies to everybody in the chat room. Not looking to try and anger you, but we're having a few technical problems as I got thrust into the lead role here unexpectedly this morning. All right. The other one that had earnings that I was looking at that's on the Gap Up list is American Airlines. So American Airlines had earnings early, and it looks like they had a tough quarter. I'm surprised that they're gapping up, but sometimes the airlines do this because in the quarter they actually missed on both revenue and bottom line earnings. And I was trying to see what's going on because they were focused, of course, in the short term on this winter storm where they said they had to cancel over 9,000 flights. And they say that's actually going to cause them to readjust downward their first quarter forecast. So that's not in these numbers, but that's in the forward-looking numbers, right? That's going to have a big impact because, of course, they lose all that revenue. They have to rebook everybody. So this storm is going to have a forward-looking impact. So it's a little odd for American Airlines to be gapping higher, being that they pretty much have only had bad news. So I don't know what to make of that,
but
to be honest.
I guess a lot of that bad news was explainable. It was a government shutdown, which negatively impacted them in the fourth quarter, but they're getting a lot of new aircrafts the following quarter, and they actually that's one of the reasons. As long as the numbers can be explained, like why it was bad, which is outside of your control, and people will look past that. So I guess that's the reason American Airlines is jumping up.
Gary, maybe what you could do is if you can flip on your microphone in the chat room, you should be able to both do the Zoom meeting and the mic in the chat room, and then people could hear you. Oh, I'm not sure if that's going to cause a feedback problem, but we'll see what happens. Guys, we know that there's an issue. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. I just turned on the microphone in the chat room as well, but then they're gonna hear you while through my mic as well.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll try and make this work, guys. Okay, so let's go back and look at the gap up list. Guys, there's a couple other things. I see Intel and IonQ. Let's take a look at both of those very quickly. IonQ is up 3% with 1 million shares traded. I liked it yesterday. IonQ is one of those ones that I wouldn't often say I like to trade, but I did like the price action yesterday. To me, it looked pretty good. Gary, is it just continuing on that momentum, or is there any news on this we should know about?
I mean, IonQ sold off deeply from 50 to 43. So, I mean, even if it's up from 43 to 45, is it really up?
Yeah.
So that's one question I have. But yeah, I think there was some analyst upgrade with the $80 price target. I don't know who the analyst is, but besides that, it's the Needham analyst who put then IonQ as $80 price target. But then he already had an $80 price target, so there was no change in the target price. So I'm not sure. But I mean, the stock sells down from 50 to 43, and today it's at 45. Is it really gapping up? I mean, yes, in a way, but not really. It might be a dead cat bounce. So not something I would be interested in at all.
All right,
The
Gary is saying
chart doesn't
no.
even look promising.
Do you
Daily.
have access? Do you have a mute button handy there, Gary? Would it be possible for you to mute when you're not talking? Because that'll eliminate the echo when I talk.
In the chat room, you mean? Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Just mute your microphone at your end, however you would do that. That way they wouldn't hear me echo through your mic, right? When you're not talking. So there you go. So it looks like you did it. People are saying it's better already. So that's good. Okay, guys. So we just took a look at IonQ. Gary says no. I don't have any reason to believe IonQ is going to move today. So it's a hit or miss on that one. Same thing on Intel. I am not a big fan of Intel. Intel and Micron. They're the two semiconductor stocks that I don't love to trade. I know a lot of people watch them. It looks good pre-market. There's some good price action. We've got 6 million shares, so there's a ton of volume coming through it. That feels like there's some news going on. Gary, do you know what's happening? Because it's somebody's excited.
I couldn't find a lot of news on Intel, anything new. I just don't know why it's gapping up. But do you have anything? I couldn't find a lot of news on Intel on why it is behaving the way it is, besides the old news of what's happening the last 4 months of the government stake. Oh no, yes, there was news. The news was that one of their processors actually is better than the Apple M5 processor, which essentially means that for your daily day-to-day activities, like we might start seeing Intel inside in the consumer electronics. So Intel is getting they have a better chip for consumer electronics, and I guess that's one of the reasons the stocks get gapping up a little bit right now. There was that news. That's a better chip than the Apple M5.
I do feel like people are looking for any good news on Intel. Again, Intel, of all of the semiconductor chips, it's the one that is not at all-time highs. You got to remember, Intel's got a long history here. They're sort of the granddaddy of the chip sector. And if you guys were around in the 90s doing stuff, they were the Intel inside, right? They had the big movement. And even just back 2020, 2019, the stock was a lot higher than it is now. So they've got room to go up without hitting their all-time highs, unlike pretty much every other chip sector where you look. I mean, they are just clearly at all-time highs. I mean, look at NVIDIA, look at even AMD, which has also got a long history. They're at their all-time highs. Micron, you know, like these things have just been skyrocketing, whereas Intel is absolutely a laggard in this space. So we'll have to see. Again, not one of my favorites. I can understand why you guys might want to watch it. I'll put it on the list. Sorry, I'll put it on the list just so we can set some levels in a few minutes. All right, speaking of which, we've got to get there. So let's quickly look at the gap down list. We're going to jump to that because there's a whole ton of stuff. There's no way we're getting through these. I'm going to get through a couple of the top ones just so we can see what's moving at the top of the list. Starting with BNAI, this has just been, it's just been hanging around. I am surprised. I'm very surprised at how long BNAI has been able to hang around here. I thought back here, right, last week, when it had moved up from, you know, like a $5 stock to a $10, $15 stock, that was the last we were going to hear of this, to be honest. And then yesterday we opened the week with this thing all the way up in the $50, $60 range. What? And now today we're, you know, sitting at 40. This just feels like a natural sort of pullback after that big move. But man, it was it certainly moved. Now, I was watching it at the open yesterday, and this halted, I don't know, like I saw it halt probably about 4 times in the first hour, hour and a half. So yeah, I wasn't loving it. Not something I would go to watch. Oh, is Gary not on mute again? Are we getting the echo? Sorry, guys. It's torture. Okay. All right. So, Gary, if you could stay on mute when you're not talking there, that would help. Let's take a look at the next one here, UNH, because I know I was watching this, and UNH had earnings that were a little bit mixed. It looks like they missed on their revenue, but beat on the bottom line. So, Gary, maybe we can hand it over to you. What do you see on UNH?
The earnings are kind of okay in my opinion, but of their flat Medicare payments, which is really pumping the stock down, and that's what is the issue. Personally, you know, when the president speaks on an industry and it's not favorable, I would just generally be more like, I'm not sure what to do with it, sort of a thing. And the numbers were okay; they were not that great. They did have what do you call 22% decline in revenue versus guidance. So it wasn't that bad that it deserves like such a jump down, but I think it's mostly to do with Trump's guidance. And Peter, you know what? I have a better idea. I'm just gonna put on some headphones, and that way there will be no echo.
That'd be great. Okay, yeah, UNH is one that I have watched in the past. I actually don't mind it, but it's tough. It could be a tough one to trade, so I'll add it to the list just so we can put a level to it and see what happens. The other one that's gapping down, there's 2 others I'll flip to here because we got a lot of stuff on the list, and we're not going to get to them. Boeing is another one that is gapping down, and it's down about 2% on 600,000 shares, so that's pretty light. It did, what did Boeing do? They did beat on revenue, but they missed on their bottom line earnings. Boeing is one that doesn't always move. It doesn't really matter what the news is. Boeing's going to move differently. There seems to be a lot of heavy hitters, big institutional shareholders here that will move this thing in whatever direction they so choose. The short float's very low on it. It's like under 2%. And the insiders own like over 70% of this stock. So I just find, from a technical perspective, I have no freaking clue what Boeing is going to do. I've tried to trade it. I've hated it every time. And I think I've always lost money. So, Gary, unless it's something that you have a different opinion on, Boeing for me is a garbage bin stock.
I can never trade that. I can never trade that stock. I just stay away from it. Well, I have no idea what it has done, what it's doing. I never look at Boeing for some reason.
Yeah, I don't blame you because again,
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I think it's horrible.
And also,
So,
I think it's a little jumpy a name.
mhm.
So that's why I
Yeah,
just stay away from Boeing.
there you go. So look at that. We're gonna put that one in the garbage truck. We got Carlos still in the truck. All right. The other one that I was looking at for earnings is UPS. UPS had a surprise for me. It was a surprise beat. So again, here's another one that is not following its earnings, where they beat their numbers in quarter, and I thought their guidance was okay. They declared a $1.64 dividend. Like I thought, they're accelerating some debt retirement. Like to me, it sounded like all good news. But I don't know. They're gapping down here, not by much. They're down by about 0.5% on only 380,000 shares. Gary, do you have any thoughts on UPS?
No, it's gapping down, but I mean, if you see the price action in the morning, it actually went higher and now it has pulled back. So this would be, not sure what's exactly happening on this over here. But what the CEO did promise is that 2026 will be an inflection point for their business after the completion of Amazon glide down, which is basically Amazon, they're moving a little bit away from the Amazon business. And 2026 is where with their strategy, they expect to deliver growth and sustained margin expansion. But it's generally, I'm not a big fan of day trading these tickers just because they don't move a whole lot. Agreed, you have earnings on these names, but if it's not a sustained move up and it pulls back in and significantly, and at that point, I'm like, okay, it's not like something where everyone is interested unidirectionally and you can get in at a pullback. This is a complete loss of trend. So I'll just stay away from this name personally. You don't want to short this name. The price action was higher at the same time. It should not have gone down this significantly either. So for me, UPS is no touch.
There you go. I have to agree with that. So I don't love it. And remember, this is also a NYSE stock. So again, New York Stock Exchange, wait for the volume. Again, you'll probably know it when you see it. It's probably not going to be in the opening minute. It usually takes a minute or two, sometimes up to 5 or 6. But usually it's sort of in the second, third, or fourth minute when that volume comes in. And that's when it'll start to decide what it's likely to do over the course of this open period. So UPS is in danger. On the gappers list here, I'm noticing on the gap down, I see a couple of the rare earth metal companies. I see UAMY. I saw USAR a little bit earlier. It looks like it dropped off the bottom. They're just sitting at the bottom of the list here. I think IPRX is one as well. No, that's Immunity Bio. I'm wrong. It's not. But these what looks like we're getting a move down in some of those stocks, and we had that yesterday. I mean, if you notice, we actually gapped higher yesterday in a lot of these stocks, and then sold off over the course of the day, like really heavy right at the open. So I hope nobody got caught in that if you're assuming that they would go higher, because we had positive news over the weekend, positive statements out of the White House, but these stocks sort of had all their moves pre-market, and then they basically lost it, right, and sold off. So I typically don't spend a lot of time focused on these because of that uncertainty in the movement. It's not the type of thing that I like to see, and that sell-off is one that I find makes it a little harder to sort of predict the movement. I like predictability on the charts more than anything else that I can trade with some sense of reliability. What has been predictable is silver at all-time highs pretty much all the time. Now, we're not actually at all-time highs today. Yesterday was a big day for it, another all-time high day and a big day. Today, we're actually starting, I mean, we are red technically, but we're sort of in the zone for the trading range of yesterday. I think today is likely to be an inside day. That being said, silver is sort of moving heartily right now. I mean, you can see this sort of move down. I mean, I don't know. I find it hard you have to trade these on an ETF or find a miner. And I don't like trading the miners. So, the silver stock directly, I do watch it, but for me, it's more out of interest. It's like a popcorn stock than anything. Gold, nowadays, gold is sort of following the same pattern. And it's so odd to me that gold is following silver, because for decades, right, it's been gold that leads the way here. And it's so weird to have silver being the one to watch, and gold is just me too, right, riding in its coattails. I find that very strange. However, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent, as that old expression goes. So don't fight it, right? Just accept that's what it is right now, and that's how the world works. Gary, anything that you think we should take a look at that we haven't talked about?
Reddit.
Reddit. Okay.
Yeah, it's capping down about 6%. The news is there are three news. One, there's a small insider sale, which is really irrelevant. The second is that France is introducing a bill for social media access for kids under 15. I think that's also irrelevant. The third one is relevant. It's pretty interesting. It's saying, so Wall Street Bets, right? The community on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who does that, so to say, that logo, the thing called Wall Street Bets belong to? Can I have like a conference in a hotel saying Wall Street Bets, especially if I am the founder of that subreddit group, and the court legally ruled no, it belongs to Reddit and not the creator of that subreddit. So I think that's the big news where people are concerned that, okay, so now if there's any IP in that, it actually belongs to Reddit and not the creator of that group. And I guess that's the reason the stock's falling down 6%. Personally, I think this is an overreaction and we might see a pull up. Yeah, this is on a daily also, it's in a zone, which is interesting for it to have some support levels here. So Reddit is actually something I would be looking for a move back up.
Well, I
but
find
not
that,
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting news. I mean, that has big implications for a lot of created content that's put on other platforms. So that makes it interesting to watch, and we may want to watch what the knock-on impact is. I don't want to make too much out of it, but that's fascinating. I would have thought that it would have belonged to the creator, not to the platform on which it was placed. But you're right, Gary. That would imply that Reddit then owns the IP for anything that's created. Now, the Wall Street Bets has been so iconic. I understand why they've made that sort of the thing that they're going after, and it's unlikely they're going to go after any other channels.
Yeah.
But who's to say the Bear Bolts channel
exactly.
They may not decide that they want, right?
And this is exactly what happened. It was the Wall Street Bets. This is the case. It is with Wall Street Bets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating. So
there is one other news which is very interesting. Beginning January 26th, which is yesterday. Now, the Mag 7 are going to have expiries on options every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday versus weekly.
Okay, so three option expiry dates. I saw that. I think you had posted that this morning.
Yeah, and that really changes the game on how stock prices might react, because open interest is going to take over a lot of supply and demand area.
Right. Interesting. Okay, that is an interesting change. We'll see what it does. I mean, there might not be an immediate impact, especially being Tuesday. When does that start or come into effect, Gary?
Well, it came into effect yesterday, but I think the real impact will probably start from February 2nd. I believe so. Especially when I look at like NVDA option chains on DAS, it really starts from February 2nd. They don't show any volume for tomorrow or any open interest, so it's probably irrelevant. But yeah, essentially, Steve, you're right. It's one step closer to having ODTEs on like the Mag 7, and that would be annoying as hell to trade.
and yeah, it's a good point. Even if it went into effect right away, like you mentioned, you're not going to have a lot of those contracts out there because there wouldn't have been time for people to build the contracts and understand what the theta looks like on it. So you're right. It's probably going to be at least a week before they have some impact. So interesting. It's going to have a big impact, as you said, on the stock price. Who knows? We'll have to see how that affects the price action as we go forward, because we're so used to dealing with the option expiry on a weekly, and then of course the witching stuff. But I don't know.
No, like, I mean, Peter, I trade ODT, SPY, and SPX, so I have a fair bit of idea how that would impact these contracts now, actually.
Right.
So let's see when it happens. Maybe we'll talk about it.
Right. Two quick ones we always look at is Tesla. Some little choppy price action yesterday. I see it's moving this morning. It's up just 0.3%. And then, of course, NVIDIA, which for me, despite its choppy look, if you look at a chart yesterday, it doesn't look great, but it gave me a great opportunity. So I rode it from high to low all day. So you just never know what you're going to get. So there you go. That's what we got. We're getting close to our time to hand over here. So I got to go quickly, guys, and try and get things in order. Let's see what I can do here to show you. If you want to join us at Bearable Traders, and I apologize for today, again, a little bit of a surprise that I was leading this morning as Carlos had an unexpected family event. What are we? We're Tuesday. So Tuesday means we're looking at our trade book and strategy activities, and we've got a number of sessions for you. Gary, since I'm used to it, why don't I just run through these? Eamon is going to be doing a session at 1 o'clock today. He's going to talk about good discipline and why traders struggle. He's going to talk about building discipline. He is a great one to talk about this. He's an extremely disciplined trader and one that really focuses on again, I can't do what he does. Like, he understands what he's going after. He targets trade entries, and he will take them and hold them for his target. And I find that very impressive. So a good webinar to go to if you're an elite member. That's at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Okay, so it's an early time. Keep that in mind, because normally we do the evening webinars, but this week it's an early time with Eamon at 1 p.m. Now, just before that, we're going to have Phil at 11, who's going to talk about the small options account trade book, and then Brendan, who's going to be doing the DAS Trader Pro setup. So Phil's session is once again in the webinar room. Brendan's is going to be done in the onboarding room, which means all members can access that no matter what your category is. And that's important because depending on what category you signed up with, the intro and the basic will only get access to Brendan's webinar, for example. If you want access to all of the webinars plus our entire inventory of webinars, and of course everybody gets access to the chat room, then you need to join as an elite member, whether it's a monthly or the elite annual. So pick the deal that makes sense for you, and hopefully we'll see you in the chat room sometime soon. We're going to have our live traders, by the way, guys, joining us here from, or at least in the chat room, from Spain. We have, once again, another trip. Andrew decided that Vancouver was too wet and too depressing, so he flew off to Spain and said, why don't join me? Why not? He booked himself a big villa and invited a bunch of friends, as he is wont to do, and I love it. So unfortunately, I couldn't go because I'm going on vacation myself. But as you can see, if you're in the chat room, Andrew is joining right now, and he is, look at that. There he is in the chat room getting ready to go. So that's pretty awesome. So, okay. Guys, let's keep going here. Our friends on YouTube, we're going to keep going with the stuff to the market open. I don't know about levels. I've got lots of levels that are already set on things. I like to look at my daily charts, and you can see all these purple lines. These are all the levels I've set. So you can tell over time. I just have them all, and eventually I should clear them. I think I'll do that after I get back from vacation. I'll clear all my levels and then reset them. But for now, I've got a bunch of daily levels that are set all over the active price range at 439.85. You can see 443.26. And, Tesla's got a good ability to go to all sorts of areas. So I'm just going to leave these. I think that most of them are still relevant, and I'll leave them there. NVIDIA is another one that that I like to look at, and therefore I've got levels. This one has proven to be excellent to use, this 189.97, which makes sense. The $190 level. Whole dollars often have great relevance on stocks, as do the 184.50, which hasn't come in play in the last couple of days, but last week I was definitely using that, and I saw the stock bounce off of that a few times. Now, on the gappers list, we got a couple of things that I don't normally look at, so let's do that quickly to put a few levels in here, such as CoreWeave, for example. CoreWeave right now sitting at a price of $103. I think yesterday's high is definitely something to take a look at. Basically 108. What was the high of yesterday? 108.65. You can see I've automatically got a level there. I don't think I need to do anything different. If it goes higher than that, I've already got a daily level marked at 112.62. That's a little high. I don't know that we're going to get there. Let's take a look at a 60-minute chart on this and see if I've got anything more relevant. Yeah, CoreWeave's in an interesting space here, right, where it hasn't really provided, been in this range. I'm going to put a level here at 102.80 roughly, because I see how it hit that high a couple of days ago. And I'm going to put one in here roughly just below 100, because I can see it was there back on the 15th of January. So I like those levels to the downside. We'll see what CoreWeave does. I do like Reddit based on the news. I don't know how well it's going to move. It is a NYSE stock, so that makes me a little nervous. But this drop down gives me some interest. Yesterday's low is definitely an area that's got support, because the low yesterday I can see is the exact same low it had on the 21st of January. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that, because that's now a high price, right? That's well above the active price, but it's actually lower than yesterday's close. So we've got room to
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, people can't see your charts.
They cannot? Oh, sorry. You're right. Thank you. I keep forgetting to hit all the buttons. So much to do. So many buttons. Thank you for the reminder. So here we go on Reddit. I'm setting the levels, and we are so we're getting those set. Oh my god, now we got a minute to the open, guys. So let's get into our trading mode for today. I'm a little discombobulated, so I don't know what I'm going to trade at the open. I'm going to try here my best to watch Reddit. I'm actually going to put it on a chart over here. I'm going to put CoreWeave over here. I'm probably going to watch maybe NVIDIA at the open. I don't know. I don't want to overtrade, but I am trying to get more active at the open here on my trading. We'll have to see what happens here. Let's also put on the screen here for you guys. I'll just put I'll put a clock. We'll put it over here so that you can have that on the screen. We can see when we go live. What else did I have on the gappers list here? I didn't even get to some of the low floats. I don't know what those things are going to do, but I'll put them over here. The RDW and the GLW. All right, guys, here's the opening bell, and we'll see what we get. Getting a drop immediately on NVIDIA. Oh my god, look at Tesla. Tesla's dropped all the way down to the previous day close. We're getting some heavy move down here off the open. All right, where are we going? Where are we going? Now, Gary, you don't normally trade, I think, in the first couple of minutes, right? You usually wait to see what happens and then jump in. Is that right?
No. My earliest entry I've taken is 7 seconds into the the first minute. So
okay,
I do trade, but that's very rare. That's very rare.
Okay, well. I am keeping an eye on both Tesla and NVIDIA right now just to see what they're doing. Tesla, big move lower. It's looking very weak. The market, not as weak as these two stocks. I see that CoreWeave, let's put it on here. CoreWeave got a push down, a little drop off the open. And Reddit hasn't done anything. So, guys, this is part of what I told you about. When you're going to watch NYSE stocks, right, wait for the volume. And I can tell you, I know the volume hasn't hit. Look at the price action. It's not moving. So it doesn't mean Reddit's not going to be in play. But so far, it's not there yet, right? You got to wait for the market maker to really decide to go on this and get active. You'll know when that volume hits. Just keep in mind how the size of these candles here. You'll know. Again, we'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it for you, and I'll let you know. But when it starts to get in play, I refuse. I will never trade a NYSE stock before I see that volume hit, just because I've been stuck so many times where the market maker will choose to take this in a direction, and if you're on the wrong side of that, it can be very painful. So we're getting continued weakness here on Tesla. It's gone red. It looks like it's going a little lower, but I'm reserving judgment. I'm not seeing a great trade decision. Whereas NVIDIA, which also started very weak, is actually popping up here a little bit now. This could end up looking very interesting on a 5 minute. So we'll see if we get. I know that Carlos, for example, would normally trade these engulfing candles on a 5 minute. We'll see what happens. We're a little early to worry about that, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So Reddit, the volume just came in and read it. So look what happened. See how you got this big volume candle compared to the first 2 minutes? That's exactly what I'm talking about on a NYSE stock. And notice how the stock is now moving a little more actively. So that's what I look for on a NYSE stock at a minimum. At a minimum, you need that volume. You need it to start moving. But it doesn't, still doesn't mean it's going to be a great trade opportunity. It's still moving a little slow for me. We're still not over 1 million shares. So that's not great by my read. But
Well, I did short PLTR. I am hoping for
okay.
165 for my first partial.
Okay. There you go. Gary's got a short going on PLTR.
Is there a way I can share the screen or?
Yeah, you can if you.
Hold on, let me figure out where Zoom is. Where's my Zoom? Oh, there it is. So share, that's all I do.
Yep.
PLTR screen.
All right, guys.
4.
Still keeping an eye. NVIDIA is hanging out in the what I call the no man's land here, just below the previous day close and the VWAP. It's stuck in here, and this is not a great area. So here's Gary's chart. Gary, your charts are. I don't know how you trade off these charts. I can never read them. I find them very difficult to read.
Yeah, it's too wide anyways, so hold on.
But, there you go. You can see Gary.
Let's see.
Wow. You got short and then added to this? You got an ad way up top there? Look at that ad way at the top of that candle. That's nice.
That was supposed to be my initial entry if I got it. So this was a small size, this was the regular size, and this was the ad. And then bang. And then I don't like this doji. We have to go down. But we probably go higher. I might get stopped out. Not stopped out. My stop loss is slightly above VWAP. I know it's under PDC, but
Right.
I'm hoping morning momentum will take care of it. If not, then I'll probably short again 167.76. But yeah, this is not a good sign. To just hope. What I'm expecting is the moving averages of VWAP to hold on to it. Let's see, and if it goes higher. But yeah, it was planned. What I was looking at was the daily on PLTR, and that gave me confidence for a short on expecting a whole day short, to be honest.
Right. Well, let's see if it happens. UNH actually set up with one of my trade strategies. I just didn't have the real estate to watch everything, but I see that we had what I call a rising devil trade on UNH. It popped up and then dropped down here nicely. That would have been a good trade on UNH, but I was not watching that, so did not get that trade opportunity. Wow, and look at Tesla. Tesla is it did sell off at the previous day close and has gone lower. That would have been a decent trade. A little choppy, but would have provided an opportunity. Again, I'm struggling enough, guys, just to keep all the screens active for you and manage all the details, let alone get in a trade. So I'm not surprised myself to just be watching and be missing opportunities. So.
All right, there we go. There we go. That was easy.
Oh, did you get a partial yet on this, or are you still waiting?
I did. I took one, and then I got greedy. I should have taken it again. I'll take one at 166.25, but we should go. All right, you know what? I'll take it here. And now we probably hit VWAP area, this area, and hopefully I'll be able to add.
Okay, Gary, look at that. So Gary's in. He's got 2 partials on it. So well done.
So I'm out this position pretty much, and I'm holding these 2 positions. This one I'm gonna hold, and my stop loss right now is like basically slightly under this. Now, if we are entering breakdown territory, my next partial should be here, and we might even go to 162.
All right, let's see if I can get a screen with Gary and
Ooh, Tesla was the stock to trade. CRWV. PLTR. Yeah, PLTR on the daily looks awesome for a short, by the way.
There we go. Now I can get your screen and some cameras in there. So
Okay.
maybe zoom in a little bit on that, Gary. We can see more what you're doing. There you go. That's better.
Now we might go to 167.
All right.
All right. We just gotta wait for the rejection of yesterday.
In the chat room, Andrew's trading silver here, the SLV ETF.
Oh, nice.
So he's trying to get a move higher on this, but I don't know. I don't love trading ETFs. I find it a challenge to try and get into these and predict a direction, because it is just a derivative product, right? All of these ETFs are derivative products. So I'd rather trade a stock directly. That's just my opinion, but so
I don't want us bouncing from yesterday alone. Let's see. I mean, I spent the entire afternoon yesterday trying to short it and kept on getting out at break even. Today I got a $2 move, so I can't complain. But I think we're going down.
Well, you're in a good position, because it looks like your average should be well above the VWAP right now, or it is. I guess I can see that on the chart. So like, make sure that you got a little bit of room. If it comes back up and tests VWAP, like you said, that might give you an opportunity to add into the trade. And then, oh, here it is. It's going right up to VWAP now. So. All right. What else are you guys watching out there? You guys are watching Boeing. Let's see what we got. Let's flip through a couple of things. Boeing looks pretty choppy here this morning. I see someone saying you actually went into RDW. What is RDW? Well, it started a little low. Now it's moving higher. Yeah. Still active on Redwire. You guys are trading. You're all over the place. Some of you are trading UNH, UnitedHealth. Again, that's a great rising devil trade. I just wasn't watching it at the open. Apple. What's Apple up to? Not much. A little bit higher, a little choppy, but it's there. You're watching AMD. Okay. You guys got all sorts of stuff going on. Wow, AMD, what an interesting move down, and then just a slingshot right back up here. And I see NVIDIA is being mentioned. Oracle. Well, there's one we didn't talk about this morning at all. What's Oracle doing? Oracle's down. Yeah, that would have been a decent short. Showed a lot of uncertainty. I actually like the look of Oracle, but again, I'm just watching from the sidelines. Watching Gary make some money. When do you decide to add, Gary? How do you make that decision?
I either should have added the recheck over here, which I did not. Now I'm waiting for at least one red candle to show up, because the problem with my ad now is my stop loss has to be here, which means I don't have a lot of room. So unless the price is 167.30, I really can't short it, because if wherever I add, and I should have after this rejection, so now we're just gonna sit and hold, but I still have a decent size, so it's not like I was that keen to add. I mean, that eager to add, because I'm more questioning where should I move my stop loss to. Should I keep it at break even, or should I bring it here when it's 67.09 now? That's what I'm debating.
Okay, there you go. Well, you're getting a good move back down. Sort of acted exactly as you had predicted. You spike up to the VWAP. a brief move back towards the previous day close, but clearly rejected off
Let's
that
see.
level, and now you're back
Yeah.
below here. So let's see what it does.
Now, VWAP projections, I usually want it to be like big and as in a continuation move, ABCD. So what I am looking for now is, do we have a Fibonacci retracement, which we do to the penny. So I can target 165, 164, 62. And if you're going to get 160, we might as well get. So let's go ahead and put some, yes, I don't need to take any off at 166 anymore. So we're just gonna sit and watch us get this price. Right.
And that was good. Thank you, Gary. Because I mean, talking that through, guys, this is where you get an idea of the thought process that goes behind the trading, right? You got to make some decisions, and there's nothing wrong with reevaluating based on market conditions, but understand what your goal is. And I was reminded of that myself yesterday when I was in a trade all day, and I understood what I was looking for, right? And it didn't move as aggressively lower, so I just had to sit in the trade, and I was looking for certain targets. And as the day goes on, you get more information. You can make better decisions about what you're going to do.
All right, so we are in, and these are our 4 price targets: 165.18, 164.95, 164.62, and 164 this. I suspect we even go lower. We might even get 163. So if it comes down to 165.18 slowly, I would take it off. Actually, I would not keep it. If it comes really quick, I would partial. If it comes really quick, I would partial because it might bounce and I might add back. But this is a high conviction trade now. And I know Willis.
All right.
So let's look at the Atlas. If Atlas gives us any orders which are interesting.
Wow. You're trading this you said you're trading a PHGE El Patron. Let's take a look at this. That's a tough trade to take. Let's see here.
Who's trading what?
El Patron is trading PHGE, which has halted twice already on the way up. This is like one of these low float, high risk type trades, I think. I mean, I assume it's a low float, but it's a rough one. Let's see. What does it tell me here? Call up. Yeah, 1 million shares in the float, and we're up to 11 million shares traded. So it's pretty active. You've got to beware of these. I'm glad that you made some profit on it, so that's good. And you say that you're done for the day on RDW. So yeah, I mean you got a decent move. You managed your size right, and you were watching that momentum. Then you know what? Yes, you can absolutely make a day on that. What else you guys got? CoreWeave, you're watching. CoreWeave after a choppy start, looks like it's moving higher, so that's good. And Gary's still hanging out here in PLTR, waiting for something exciting to happen. Yeah, UNH, most of that 20% move was pre-market, right? You got to keep that in mind. It closed the day yesterday at 350. It opened today at 294. So again, $60 almost of the move was pre-market. You only had $10 or so that's during the market hours. So what a good trade. Good trade if you got it short. Looks like both.
I added a little bit, but got a horrible fill.
Let's see here. Brian and Andrew both are trading UNH, so they did catch that short. Oh wow, you did get a low fill there.
Oops.
Gary?
Sorry.
I do like this move on UNH. It's a shame I wasn't watching it again. I just too many things on the go. UNH was not one of the ones that I had shortlisted. And again, this is the one stock that meets my trade strategies. So, but it's interesting, Gary, you traded a very similar pattern on PLTR to my Rising Devil that I like, right? Which is that, it's a stock that was
Yeah, so
pops up at
what I was looking at is actually the 2-minute chart. Let's get up. And I know I have too many lines. We were rejecting the 200 SMA. So when I entered here, I was very conscious of the fact that we might hit this. So once we started hitting this and started rejecting, I added more. Thus, this was my stop loss. Even when I entered here, so it was a very wide stop loss, but it had to be one. So the moment we started rejecting, and I could add heavy because now my stop loss is tighter. And look, if yesterday open is rejected, if yesterday close is rejected, then Fib is accepted. I'm just waiting for my price levels to be hit. I did add, I didn't get a good fill, so that kind of annoyed me, but let's see what happens. Maybe.
Well, better to be annoyed and in the green than annoyed and not in the green.
That is true, Peter. That is true.
Or like me, I can be annoyed and I'm not even trading. I don't even have a trade. So, so my annoyance is useless. It serves no purpose. NVIDIA is actually popping up here above the VWAP. We're getting a little bit of a move higher, so we'll see what that spells. Maybe a move higher here on NVIDIA.
We should have not come over.
Wow, good move higher here on NVIDIA. It continues to push up. I'm not sure if anybody's caught that or is in NVIDIA. It's a good move. Came through the previous day close in the VWAP, which are at the same spot roughly, and then pushed higher. So good little pop if you were watching it. Gary, looks like you're getting a little bit of a pullback here on PLTR, or pull up.
Yeah, and that ad's not gonna work out. That was the place. I'm looking for 166.82 to add and then get stopped out, I guess, at break even. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Where's your new break even? Did it move into the below the
167, no, 167.25. Yeah, this guy.
Oh, okay. So you're still in a good spot.
Yeah. No, I should get my price.
That's good. Hopefully you do.
I mean, what's the worst case? I get out at break even. So
Yep, that's
but,
not a bad position to be in, of course.
Actually, you know what? I am going to move my stop loss here. I don't want 167.25. I just don't want a new high to begin with. Because if we go back here, I'd rather short and then what is the 5 minute saying? We just gotta wait for this 5 minute. And hit the middle Bollinger again. Yeah. 67,
GLW is another one of the ones we looked at this morning, and it's still moving higher here. 105 now is the price of GLW. I saw a couple of you said that you're looking at RDW, which has pulled back to the VWAP. It's done a little bit of a bounce. Great volume this morning on Redwire. What's Reddit up to? Reddit is, yeah, just sold off a little bit. So again, Reddit's a good one, guys. Like I was talking about, you can see that volume. Look how obvious that volume is, right? Compared to the opening 2 minutes, it's the third minute when the volume came in, and that's when it really decided then, right, to start its move for the day. So just keep that in mind. I know I say it all the time, but it's worth repeating that a NYSE stock moves a little different than anything on the Nasdaq, that you know that the biggest candle of the day on any Nasdaq stock is almost always that first candle, right? You can look at anything on the Nasdaq. Well, actually, PLTR has equivalent volume in other candles, which is interesting. But usually, like NVIDIA, Tesla, all the stuff that I watch. Well, that's not a good example. Netflix.
Why can't I?
Flip through them. Amazon. They all typically get big volume right at the beginning. Whereas a NYSE stock, it's a little different profile, right? And that's because of the way the market makers function. If you're not familiar with that, go do some research. There's good tools out there. You can understand the difference between the NASDAQ and the NYSE markets. And it's good to know that. How do you find that out? Well, how do you find out which market your stock is traded on? Usually if you're using a professional trading tool, it should tell you, like here on the DAS trading platform, it tells me in the top right-hand corner, it just has an N or a Q or maybe an A, which is the American Stock Exchange. That's where a lot of the ETFs are actually traded through. And then you'll know which exchange it's traded on, and you can understand the profile of that exchange. So it's worth understanding how those market makers work, because they're structured very differently on the New York Stock Exchange than they are on the NASDAQ. And that leads to different volume and trade profiles for those stocks.
All right, we got stopped out on the rest of the PLTR trade. Now let's see what happens here.
Okay. You have been stopped out?
Really?
Oh yeah, look at that. It's popped up.
Let's see what it does here.
Okay.
This is very, very random. That was good while it lasted. Got a couple of partials ads. This was the ad which killed me.
Yeah.
That's fine. That I stuck around. That's fine. But no, it's fine. What else now? Let's go back to the stocks in play. Tesla, if we're going to hold 432.50, can we go back to 437.50, potentially 440? Okay. No, we just created a new low, stopped everyone out, rechecked. Tesla.
Some people are taking Tesla long here as they took that bounce off the bottom in the chat room. I can see Brendan did that. Yeah, I'm just watching, guys. I don't have any trades this morning. Apple's made a decent move higher here. As Apple's pushed a little higher. Let's see what the markets are doing overall. The SPY has been moving higher here, and the Qs are following suit. So both these stocks are getting a good strong move higher. So there's it looks like if we can leverage that. Not all the stuff I'm watching is following, but that is a good support anyways for some higher moves, such as NVIDIA, for example, right, which had pushed higher. We talked about it before, where it came through the VWAP, and now look at it, it's all the way up at a new high of day. So good move. So it looks like the market was working against you on that PLTR trade, Gary.
Yeah, and we missed APLD. I didn't look at it. That's annoying. That should have pushed more, but that's fine.
PLD. That's another one that moved higher. Yeah, a lot of stuff has sort of moved higher here this morning.
48.85.
Tesla's a little bit of a laggard here, as it's not moving as much as a lot of the other stuff on the market. Just look at the Tesla chart that I'm showing you now compared to NVIDIA, that sort of had the same pull down at the open, but look how much NVIDIA's recovered compared to Tesla, which has only recovered, half as much. So, what about AMD? What's AMD doing right now? The AMD's made that same recovery.
I haven't touched AMD for so long now. And it's been the stock in play, but I mean, for a while, just now the spread's a little different. It behaves a little different than when it was
Yeah.
like $100 stock. I'm just getting used to its characteristics of.
I understand that, 'cause I've been
I
watching
know
AMD
fall
for so
people you
long.
do.
Yeah.
I know fall people you do.
It's hard as a stock. It does sort of change profile. It moves a little bit different as it grows, right? And as it changes price categories. I mean, again, I still in
Mhm.
my back of my head, I still have to remind myself that AMD isn't a $15 or $17 stock, because that's where I started trading it. So that's where my brain got stuck, right, with what I think the price
Oh
is.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so. All right, so good move on NVIDIA here. We'll see what it can do. I gotta check out the let's check out the Atlas here on. I was supposed to look at a new Atlas tool actually. Let's see here. See if I can call this up. Andrew had.
Now let's see what Tesla does if it holds here 160 433.93. And I'm gonna watch PLTR go down again. That would be annoying. And if we don't, we got to hold between 433 and 433.93. So I'm gonna try one over under on Tesla. If we hold here. No, we did not.
All right. All right, we just had some data that came out here, some economic data. Let's see. At 10 o'clock, we had, I think, the consumer confidence came out a little lower than anticipated. 90.6 was the estimated. It actually came out at 84.5. So that is significantly, well, significant. I mean, it's lower than anticipated. Consumer confidence is one that the market doesn't always pay attention to, but it looks like it has temporarily, or might temporarily, stop this move higher. Just because of that consumer confidence data. So apparently, guys, I'm seeing on my calendar here, it looks like the President Trump is going to be making an address at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I didn't have that on my calendar earlier, but that's worth knowing, because when when he speaks, you can often get market reaction. So that's worth understanding. Now, we've also seen just because he's scheduled to speak at 2 o'clock doesn't mean 2 o'clock is when it's going to start, right? I mean, it could be later, but it's it's good to be aware of it, because if you're in a trade late this afternoon, you do not want to get caught, unawares of that speech. So just know that currently it looks like President Trump is scheduled to speak at 2 p.m. So, all right. Gary is quiet and I am loud. Let's see. I can adjust that on my end. Let's see. I can turn my volume down a little bit to match Gary's. Gary's all the way up at the maximum.
Uh, How can I do that, Peter?
No, you're good. You're good. I have to adjust it at this end. Thank you for pointing it out. If let me know if we've got it's tough because I can't really hear the volumes on YouTube. So let me know if they're a little bit better. Hate for you have me yelling at you and you have to listen intently when Gary speaks. But watching NVIDIA here, by the way, still sitting at the highs. Let's see if we can get higher. The market is looking a little less enthusiastic right now. It's you can see it sort of hit that high a few minutes ago, and now it's sort of moving a little bit lower. The Qs look a little bit better, but still it's faltering. So, all right. What are you staring intently at over there, Gary?
I'm trying to see if I can figure out a trade, anything interesting, I think. Nothing really is standing out to me anymore, so that kind of sucks. Should have taken the Tesla long. Well, I was waiting for this recheck and I should have taken this Tesla long, and now we need to hold. But now it's too late. We probably can get 440. It's going to be a classic RDW.
Now I'm very low. Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. This really moved.
We'll keep adjusting the volume here.
And with volume.
Hopefully we can get the volume right here. I'll do my best. Sometimes the tools are just a little unreliable. All right. RDW, so you guys had mentioned how it made a pullback to VWAP. I see how it's moved higher now. Went through 14 briefly. Let's see what it does. Gary, you never trade these types of stocks, do you?
No, I don't. I don't trade. I'm looking at it, but I don't trade. I very rarely would trade sub $30 stock. Very, very rarely. Unless it has news, which RDW does, so it was interesting. But to me, if the stock's gonna go from 12 to 14, I mean, it's a $2 move. Granted, I can take a whole lot of shares, but I'd rather play SPX options and get like a $10 move, and you can take a similar amount of shares for similar price stock. I mean, to me, that makes more sense. It's the same index. You can look at it day in and day out. So that's why I'm not a big fan unless there's something structural about the business. Like I've been trading APLD for the last few days because I like what's structural about the business. Otherwise, I just shy away from them. Did that stop everyone out? We hit that. We're hitting on PLTR.
All right, guys, still taking a look here at these stocks. Again, I struggle with these RDW type trades just because they're very active movers. You can get great moves, but you've got to understand how to manage your risk on this and have a very strict controls. It doesn't mean tight necessarily, but it means they're strict, right? You know what you're looking for, and you're going to stick to those rules because that's it's easy to get hurt badly if you don't have firm rules on these things. I'm still watching the market. Look at, we've made in the last couple of minutes here. Look at this the drastic sort of drop that we had on the market overall. So a little bit of a quick drop, and that's pulled a few things down. I notice here, stopped the move higher for Tesla. It's stopped NVIDIA here. So we'll see what happens. At this point, I'm probably waiting until at least 10:30 for a trade setup. So it's going to be a quieter trading morning for me today than yesterday, when at this point I was well into a trade and feeling pretty happy. So
Yeah. So are you looking to long NVIDIA or
no,
it's too
no.
late?
I mean, at this point,
No.
I'd probably be looking for a short, actually. I needed to sort of aggressively get to a high of day, and then I would take it short if I see some weakness. So right now
Okay.
it's not yet setting up for that, because it's still looking like it's got, higher to go. So all right. What was I looking for? I was looking for an email. Here's what I was looking for. All right. See what we got here. NVIDIA and Tesla. All right. I got this new Atlas. Got this new Atlas tool. I don't know if you guys are using that on Trading Terminal. It's great. It provides visualization of market volumes. I'm watching NVIDIA right here, and you can see it helps me understand. So NVIDIA is hitting highs and see where it's likely to go to. You can see the level at 109 here, or sorry, 189, where the volume sits, that it's likely to move towards, because that's where the orders are. So gives me an idea of what to watch, and we'll see where stocks go. You can look at any stock you want. I've got Tesla on here as well. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's just hanging around VWAP, or sorry, around the previous day close. Not sure where to go. We do have orders up here at 436, but look how long they've been sitting here, right? They sat here through this consolidation where they weren't being taken, right, in the last couple of minutes. So it looks like that, there's less interest. I can zoom out and see. All right, so we got more orders that are saying, what else we got? Yeah, see, not a lot of orders sitting around on Tesla right now, so that makes it tougher to look at a trade. So I like the look of NVIDIA right now. Again, like I said, look at this, moving right up towards that 189 level. We'll see what happens when we get there.
Yeah.
And you'll see those orders get taken. You're going to see a big sort of dot up there if and when these orders get. Now, they could get pulled, and you can see, look at how many, as the color gets deeper, the orders have been adding. So people are adding into that with the anticipation of it hitting that level. If it pulls away before hitting it, often the color goes later, meaning orders get pulled, right? As there's less certainty. But for now, looks like so you can see the big intensification here as it started to move towards it, and then a few of those orders got pulled as the color lightened. So you can use this as an indication of how serious are they about hitting that level.
Yeah, and also this looks like this is on the larger time frame. This looks like it's initiation of a breakout on NVIDIA. So we have been just.
There you go. So there's the big, see the big dot, and all the orders got taken. They all got cleared. So that's when the 189 got hit. All the orders got pulled off. The next level we've got is now popped up here to 190. And notice there's nothing in between, which tells me, we're not in a big hurry to get up there to take those orders. We might, but at this point, the stock could go either way. So we'll just watch and see what this thing is doing. It's sitting right here with
Yeah. This is a lot of volume on NVIDIA. I don't think so we're going to get a pullback for a while.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, and it's interesting that this is a lot of dynamic buying, you can see, because look at the volume that's high over the last few minutes, and I'm not seeing a lot of orders on the order book. So this is not people with a a big structured plan. This is a lot of momentum chasing. So it's good to know. So I find that it's fascinating to be able to use a tool like the Atlas tool, which is available in tradingterminal.com, the Market Atlas, to help you in your trading.
Tesla pulled back. APLD is back to $40. Man, this is stupid. Ah, well. I personally am looking at NVIDIA to see if I can get a pullback entry somewhere, maybe along the moving averages, maybe on a 5-minute chart. I would not be looking to short something which looks like this.
That's interesting because this is exactly the type of stock that I like to short. In fact, I was just looking at a
So,
short.
I mean, conceptually, yes, I understand what you're trying to say. Like, but look at the consolidation for the last 1 month, right? And now what you have, now what you have is a move, consolidation, and now this is a big move. Now, probably, I'm not saying we can't go down. I mean, I want it to come down so that I can add, but for me, as the structural move is to the long side, so I will only be looking for longs until there's change of structure.
Right.
And until I see change of structure, I'm not willing to short it. So normally what I would want to see is like on a 2-minute chart, for example, right? What I would want to see is it create a lower low.
And that's just a different strategy because you'd be taking a longer term trade.
Up. Yeah.
What I was looking for is I'd take the momentum faltering, right? So I was looking at 189.20. I would just take a short, and I've been hoping for a short-term move. And it might last a few seconds, it might last a few minutes, but you're right. It's probably going to go higher, but in the short term, I could take advantage of that that pullback.
That weakness,
That weakness as it, then finds some more buyers and pushes higher. So this, I should have got in short right there, but it would have been a good little move off of the high. Like I said, the Atlas was helping me because I could see that it wasn't structured buying. It was momentum buying, which means that I just wait for the momentum to slow down. Then you get an opportunity for a pullback. And again, because it's momentum, it doesn't mean that it's structurally sound. And, like Gary says, the stock over the, when I say long term, like we're talking the next, 20 minutes to hour, it's more likely to go higher than it is lower, but it doesn't mean I can't take advantage of short-term weakness. All right. But all that being said, all right. All right. Andrew is already organizing the next retreat. He's in Spain right now, and he just announced that he's now planning the next one for Egypt in March. Going to do 3 cities in Egypt in March.
All right, I'm in for that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Egypt. I'm not sure my wife wants me to go.
Egypt is a lot of. I mean, I've been to Cairo, Sharm el Sheikh, and Alexandria. It's a beautiful place. It's beautiful.
I've never been to Egypt. Would love to go though.
And bang.
Yeah. So all right.
I ideally just want to scalp it.
Little pop back up on NVIDIA here as it heads back towards the high.
You know what? I'm ideally gonna just scalp it. Can we scalp something like NVIDIA? We probably can. Let's see what happens.
There you go. So here's the move higher on NVIDIA. So.
Oh, I'm on the other chart. Hold on. So we were looking to scalp it here.
What are you looking at? There you go. There's NVIDIA on the 1 minute. Oh, did you take an entry?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's smart, right? Because again, once that direction reestablishes, Yeah, you got to push higher.
But I'm only looking to scalp it.
Right.
Maybe out at, yeah. I will just call it. That was just 30 cents, but I'm looking to scalp it. Now, if I had a better entry, I would hold on to this trade.
Right.
This is a random entry, pure momentum buying. That's why I'm expecting a little bit of weakness at the pivot levels. And now now that I've made like 20, 30 cents, which I kind of say for free, I mean, it's not for free, but it was like a momentum scalp. Now I can circulate these 30 cents in an entry, which I like, and I get hold. So it becomes a free trade for me.
There you go. Good way to look at it.
Yeah. Mr. Banker, I do have webinars, but not on Trading Terminal. I'm mostly in the bear bull side of the trading aspect of this community. I don't venture out a whole lot. Maybe I should.
You don't venture out a lot.
Out of the bear bull thing. I mean, this is the only place where I learned how to trade, right? It's not like I was trading somewhere else and Andrew asked me over.
No?
I'm a homegrown trader. And I used to watch Peter and Carlos and everyone else trade, and I learned from all of them. So I've just always stayed in the bear bull. YouTube Chaudhry, I do, but yeah, I mean, you guys barely know me here, so let's talk about it offline. Beth, I have been trading for, well, wow, it's been 5 years now. I've been involved with the markets for like 25 years. So it's not like I've not been in the stock market. And by involved, I don't mean casually, I mean professionally. But day trading for the last 5 years, and Andrew invited me to be part of the moderator group last year.
There you go. And we're glad to have you.
Yeah, Mr. Banker. Yeah, I'm actually live in Bear Bull. Bear Bull Traders. I'm live there. And see, this is where I would have been stopped out had I held on to that. So I was just looking for a scalp. That's all I was looking for. And you can look slow, like PLTR, I was willing to hold. I had a thesis, I had a good entry. I was proven wrong, and that's fine. Got my partials, and that's fine. It works. Okay. NVDA, I wasn't willing to hold because I had in my mind that I'm only looking to scalp. And had it gone higher, so be it. I got my 20, 30 cents. That's all I could get.
And that's reasonable, right? Well, the same thing, you know, you sort of took the inverse of the trade that I was looking at.
Yes,
yes,
basically. Yeah.
Right? And that's, because like I said, at this level, it's tough to tell exactly where it's going to go. There's not a lot of order structure. And, you know, you're going to get some momentum moves, but they may not be sustained. And it looks like, you know, right now the market slowed down. The market direction isn't as aggressive as it was as NVIDIA was rising. So, you know, you can just sit and watch.
Somebody, what did I do in 25 years? Ferdinand, I did a whole lot of things, man. I got a job, got married, had kids. I've done a lot in the last 25 years. I basically grew up 25 years ago.
That's what happens.
25 years ago, all I cared about was actually nothing.
I cared about nothing. I had no morals.
I was not even 18. 25 years ago, I was not even 18, man. You actually only cared about one thing. And every guy who's 17 only cared about one thing when they are 17 years old.
You were not a fully formed human at that point. Yeah. You can say that now. But at the time, if somebody had told you that, you would have been offended and upset, right? And probably done something stupid to prove that you were. But
no, but Fardeen, I know what you're saying. I was coming to that. I as a portfolio manager for emerging markets fund, where we just and bought them. So I come from the Wall Street background.
I didn't know where you came from or what your work history was.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So remember we had Robert the other day on YouTube.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So Robert is a buddy of mine. Him and I, we were used to work in the same company. I basically have the same background as his.
Okay.
So when I told Robert that, dude, we would like to do it with you, he's like, why don't you just go there yourself? I'm like, yeah, but I'm on the other side. People wouldn't believe me if I say it. So NVIDIA R-vol is what, 93%. So let's have a look. I don't know if Peter or Carlos do this, but let's look at the potential opportunity on SPY and what it can do. So let's look at SPY. Oops, I need to pop this out. And let's look at where is it? 695. So 695 is heavy. 692, 93, 90, that's been sold. That's fine. And then we have a little bit of hiccup. Then we have 697 and 698 all the way to 7,000. 700. 700 is possibly also being sold. So I expect us to chop around the 695 area and 32,000, and we potentially might even actually close under 695 for the day, maybe touch 696 and close under. That's how I would be thinking about it. And this is purely based on open interest. So this is just one data point. And if we go higher, then I'm looking for 697 and 698 as a possibility. Now, the reason I'm looking at is how high can NVIDIA today possibly go, given the fact that we are meeting resistance on the higher time frame, right? So if SPY is going higher, then NVIDIA should go higher. Or if NVIDIA is going higher, SPY should go higher. And they both should have room. So what we are touching right now is about this guy, right? Yesterday high, which is kind of high point of mid value or low point of high value, whichever you see it. Outside the Bollinger's, we are touching 70 on the RSI. Can we pull back for 15 minutes, hold the price level, maybe moving averages, and then march up? That would only depend on if we are making a new high on SPY or not. So now I'm not interested in an NVIDIA long anymore unless I see a reasonable pullback and a hold. What's the do they even trade on this channel? Tesla?
Jonathan,
Let's look at.
sorry, Jonathan, no, I haven't shorted anything. I haven't taken a trade today.
Oh, Tesla is interesting if you're over the moving averages. No. Now, Tesla is definitely interesting. So this is the first area I was looking for. Do we hold this guy here? And if we hold the pullback, we went over the moving averages, came back, kind of held the moving. So what I'm looking for is all these moving averages to converge and the price to pull back and still hold this area, or maybe do a fake breakdown and reclaim a VWAP. And that would be the long I'm looking for 440. Which might not be that way. We just might go. So then I don't have a trade. But right now what I'm looking at is this formation, right? Just this formation. And as long as we are in trend, I don't have a reason to short it. Tesla is expected to have Tala. I'm guessing you mean Tesla. I use Market Atlas. Yeah, of course. I use a whole lot of Market Atlas. And that's why, I mean, if you That's why I was willing to stick with my PLTR short. The Atlas is lit, right? There was nothing on the upside. The stock still went up. But yeah, sure. I mean, the momentum was down, and I was hoping to partial around 165 and not just the Atlas goes the other way. So yeah, I look at the market Atlas a whole lot. This single-handedly has probably added 10 to 15% on my profitability. So Tesla, if you're thinking about Tesla earnings based on their car delivery numbers, trust me, I mean, the car business can go to zero and I don't even care. As in the manufacturing manufacturing business. Yeah, nobody cares about Tesla's car business, at least from a valuation perspective.
I think you're wrong about that, but okay.
No, it's more about the FSD and robotics, right? Now,
Sure.
it's what, $100 a month on FSD. That's what Elon is saying now. So think about it this way, Peter. Tesla sells their car businesses. We are no longer going to make automobiles. Okay.
Yeah.
But we will license our FSD technology to 1, 2, 3 car makers. That's a low capex, high return business, right?
Yeah.
Where a GM would take their capability and so maybe like spend $3,000 to equip the car with FSD, and but the revenue flows to Tesla, and now GM can sell FSD cars. So FSD doesn't become a point of contention, but the revenue, a lot of it is going to Tesla, and GM, for example, gets a certain percentage. That itself can be huge on Tesla. So it's not the car manufacturing business or the delivery numbers which really, in my opinion, matter. But that's just me, one guy.
Well, I mean, I think long term, you're correct. I think in the short term, if they announce that, the stock price would take a big hit in the short term. It would reestablish,
Yeah.
but
Dominique Naiga, I think the entire market's price is solely based on options flow. That's me personally thinking. Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about the optimism. I have this really long article, Peter. I'll forward it to you in our Telegram
okay.
chat. And it's not about Tesla. It's about robotics and artificial intelligence. And it's really interesting to read that. Probably half an hour read or something. I don't like this NVDA. Let's see what happens here. It's very interesting.
Well, I'd be interested to read that. Let's see. Tesla, speaking of which, has a stock moving sideways right now. Not doing much. We got to 10:30. My 10:30 alarm went off, which means that we're an hour into this market. And often, if we're going to get a directional move or a change of direction, this is about the time, roughly the time of day when these things happen. So keep an eye.
I'm not saying Tesla is not going to make cars. What I'm trying to say is it's not about the car, but everything around it, which really makes the valuation of Tesla interesting. Microsoft, I am against longing software companies for now. Oh, wow, it really pulled up quite a bit. So, and this is where, if you folks have been paying attention, what's in play, software stocks were in play on the downside because the fear was AI is coming for them. So is this a dead cat bounce, or this is like Microsoft is just not a software company, just any other software company? It's not like a CRM sort of a thing. Let's see, intraday, this is choppy price action. I'm not interested. It's holding, but our vol is low. Is it low or is it high? It should be low given the Actually, no, our vol is pretty high. It's over 100%. Reddit is forming a base, which is interesting. Generally, if the stock is down so much and in play a whole lot, I tend to avoid the first hour, let people let it form its base and its direction if I can. Meta, is it over 650 yet?
Not well. Yes, yes, it is.
Oh, I didn't Meta. Why are we? Oh, because I didn't anchor it. Oh, 670. So maybe I had the wrong number in mind. The daily is promising on Meta, right? But we are still trading under the 200 moving average, and this is where real resistance lies on Meta. So I would wait for it to. We are right roughly about that price. So now, oh, this is interesting. This is initiating volume. Whoever pointed out Meta to me, I am long. Thank you. And our stop loss is going to be just about here. And most likely it's going to be a losing trade. It might take a couple of shots before this works, but I'm going to play it tight. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, I'm out. And it's a small size. But I want it to hold this area
Were
and
you
not
trading
make a new
Meta?
2-minute low. Yeah, I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan of Meta. It's a very small size, but we need to hold this.
I like how you say I'm not a big fan of Meta, but here I am. I'm going long.
It's a very small
All right.
size, and it's a 50-cent stop loss, so it's fine. Oh, dude, what am I doing? We are rejecting PDC on Meta.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we are just below it.
Yeah, gonna get stopped out on this trade. There we go. We got stopped out. I was on the other chart. I didn't even see where we are getting rejected. So now for me, Meta would be, we have to go over PDC, come back and hold it. For me to long it, it probably, no, this is not a good long. We'll see it. I'll probably see it tomorrow. Yeah, this is not a good long. It was a bad long. And this is the area we should hold within the moving averages if we hold that. But I'd rather focus my energy on NVIDIA. BA is not something I trade. I am happy to look at it. I don't know how to trade this name, very honestly. Look at this choppiness.
I know. Boeing
240,
is nothing
yeah,
that I ever
yeah,
like to
yeah.
trade. I don't know. There's people that trade it very well. I am not one of them. So
Yeah, Meta held. Can we get S3 again? I have to trade for it.
Andrew's going for a run.
It's a 200 EMA. That's what you look at. Interesting. But 200 EMA on what time frame, Brian?
Wow. Okay, well.
Hold,
I think
hold. hold.
Brian was going to join us here, but Andrew talked him out of it. So where is?
I want volume burst.
I got all sorts of
Whatever.
voices in my head. Okay, Paris is in the chat room. Paris is trading from Spain. Gary, you decided not to go to Spain?
Man, I have like 3 boys trip this year.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was in Thailand in November.
Okay.
And to say that I'm going out again for a week with the boys, uh,
Right.
it's hard for me. It's hard for me.
So I see. So basically you're
Uh,
saying you would have been in trouble, basically. Right.
Yes, that's the right
That's all
way of
right.
looking at
That's
it.
fair. You know, trouble is something
And
that you do want to avoid wherever possible. So I understand
oh, well, it's almost 11, and this is where things get annoying.
that.
In
Look,
terms of
Meta's. Whoa,
trading.
I don't want to speak too soon. Wait, Meta was just green. Now it's not green. Now it's green again. All right.
Where's the 1 minute on Meta? No, just should have added. If you're gonna go, we can go, but we're holding this area. But I don't want to give it a 250 stop loss. What, get a $7 move for 3 hours? Now PLTR is coming back. Let's see. Did we just stop all these guys out who put high of day as their stop loss? Rejected. Rejected. What's happening on this? That was smooth, but rejected. Maybe we get 160 at 36.
Meta's looks like it wants to go green here for you, Gary, which would give you a good move, good trade. See if it can hang on here.
GLW.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we had looked at this morning.
Oh, yeah, that's a good move.
GLW and RDW are two of the, sort of higher risk stocks that we were taking a look at this morning. Tesla's off. NVIDIA.
Bet they're wide because that's what the math is. But honestly, I wouldn't worry much about NVDA pivots. I would look at the underlying, which would be NVIDIA. Right? It's the underlying which matters. But I don't trade a lot of NVDL, so I don't know if it's that liquid that it does make a difference. So yeah, you are right. It is pretty wide. And I think that's very typical. A wide day leads to a narrow cam pivot, and a narrow day leads to a wide cam pivot. Because the Camarilla is based on what? Yesterday, high, low, open, close, and some sort of Fibonacci math, and it would change drastically. CRWV. Okay, recheck, hold, bounce. 108 is a possibility. Too late to enter.
All right, what's Meta doing for you here? How's your Meta trade going? Oh, see. Tisk.
Yeah, I'm out of the Meta trade.
Okay.
I'm actually interested in Reddit. If we can get 193.50, not before that. These are the floor pivots. What is MU doing? Man, I've had such a hard time trading MU. Hey, Peter, MU is making your, what do you call, mountain pass.
Let's see. Is it?
Actually, no, because the first minute was higher.
Yeah. It didn't quite move far enough to really, for me to personally count it as a mountain pass, but I see what you're saying, but yeah, not quite the strategy I would look for.
And APLD is strong.
You watch APLD fairly regularly, right?
These days, yes. And this is the area of rejection. 40.22 to 40.
Why APLD?
So APLD had great earnings. Until this quarter's earnings, it was basically a show me stock. All right, you have a great business model, but you are burning money. So I'm not sure what we should do with you. And institutions would not get into a show me stock. They need confirmation fundamentally. These earnings were where they turned free cash flow positive, EBITDA positive, and they had great guidance. So now it turns from a concept play to an actual play. And small cap investors, institutional investors would be interested in a name like this. They've been following it for a while. They just needed it to match their criteria that companies should have free cash flow before they can invest. And that's why I've been focused on APLD for the last, since their earnings came out. And I've made some good money on it. Intel is, I actually have held Intel for quite a bit now. Sub 20 is my entry, about 20, give or take. And then I took some off around 40, and then I've been holding the rest. What's NVDA doing? I think SPY moved, right? SPY moved.
SPY.
We missed our
moving,
entry.
Moving higher.
We missed our entry.
Yeah.
It should have been here on the hold of moving averages. Let's see. So if 696 is done, what can we get? 696. So maybe we get 697, heck, even 698. Looks like it. SPY's in breakout territory. 696. Oh yeah. The way SPY moves, I would not touch it until we recheck. Man, silver. I think yesterday was the turn, right? Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday is the first. So this is generally what's called UTAD, upward thrust after distribution. This is your first lower low and quite a bit of selling on that. And then we have a fair value gap fill right here. Oh no, it's not there yet. So do we have a retracement fill? Kind of, not exactly. This is what I call a 4-hour death candle, right? If you look at a 4-hour time frame. I forgot how to do the on a 4-hour basis. I would still not short it, but yeah, this definitely looks like the top. but who knows? Tesla is breaking out of this consolidation range now.
A little bit, not too aggressively.
Yeah.
Not too aggressively. All right, guys, we're into this sort of shoulder time of the day where careful about moves. Sometimes you can get good setups for, sort of the longer moves of the day. Let's keep in mind the economic calendar, like we talked about, that the only thing that we're looking forward to later today would be apparently there is Trump that is making an address at 2 o'clock. Again, that can be variable in terms of the exact timing and, of course, the content. It may affect the market, it may not. So all you can do is watch and wait and watch and see what happens. Tomorrow we do have that FOMC decision, so it's another afternoon thing, right? Usually the decision comes out at 2 o'clock. The computers react, right? We get all those algos that react to whatever the announcement is, and then at 2:30 the press conference starts with Powell. This would be his third to last conference. So he's only got 2 more rate decisions after this. But still obviously still in play, and it'll be interesting to see what the Fed says. A lot has happened since the last rate announcement. Not from the U.S. economy point of view, but certainly from interaction between himself and the Fed. There's going to be a lot of questions that he's not going to want to answer about the case that was raised against him by the office of the president and some of the other stuff. I mean, he's likely just to dodge those, but in how aggressive the questions are and how he positions his non-response, which is what I expect, we could see some reaction to the market. So just be aware of that, right? So pay attention tomorrow afternoon. That's sort of always sort of a big market event. So keep all of that in mind. In about 10 minutes here, we're going to get our next group of traders here. We'll see how they've done on the day with, I'm not sure if it's Brendan or Thor or both, but something to look forward to one way or the other. And we'll keep the show going. I've got NVIDIA sort of did a little bit of a mountain pass here, but it wasn't a good enough of a strategy that I would have traded it. But of course, in hindsight, it looks good here. But again, I'm so thrown off with everything this morning. I just may not end up with any trades on the day. I just can't. I sort of can't get my head around things. As you got to manage the show and all the details. So thank you for sticking with us. If you're still here, it's been a little bit of a rough one, and I acknowledge that. And again, we appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. I know there's quite a number of you that have had good trades. And the thing that I don't have access to all the codes. You know what? Do I have the tool? Hold on, guys. Let's see if I can make it up to you somewhat. Somewhere I might actually have the tool that we can do the draw. Oop. Gotta see if I can find the link for the draws. Then we could maybe give you something, right? We can give you something to compensate. Carlos often does the draw. God, I'm trying to remember the name of the tool that he uses. I know he had sent me a link a long time ago, but what matters most is that you guys got opportunities to trade. Hopefully you found something that was good from what we were reviewing pre-market. Let's see here.
PLTR.
Here it is. Here it is, guys. We might be actually be able to do this.
So it's at 169.
Okay, guys. I think I've got it. So, here's what we're going to do. I've got the giveaway ready to go. Hashtag Carlos, since he's not here. Boyd, you know what? You can claim it anytime. You just have to email Carlos. You can give it back if you want. He'll only assign them once you reach out. So if you want to win, what has Carlos been giving away? He's been giving away memberships, I think. So we'll do another giveaway today. This is the giveaway code. Hashtag Carlos. I can see you guys getting in here. This is going to be a bonus prize for you guys sticking with us. And if you're the lucky winner, all you have to do is email Carlos at bearbulltraders.com to collect your prize. There you go. I'll give you guys a minute to get in. I can see your entries coming. You can see them flashing up on the screen here. So you got a good chance. You got 101 entries right now. So let's go.
Is this the membership for the Bear Bull or for the Lambo and garbage truck?
I don't know what Carlos has been giving away, to be honest. So I'm not actually sure what I'm giving away. I can't promise things that I don't have. So, what has Carlos been giving away each day? I think a funded account. Yeah, I think that's what he's been having. So, let's assume it's a funded account. That's what we're giving away. Well worth it. I'll just let him know.
Right.
I'll let him know that I did a giveaway today, and it'll be the same prize as what anyone got another day. So we believe that's a funded account. And that's good, because you can actually make money out of this deal, right? A free funded account, trade in that, follow the rules, which aren't onerous, and it gives you the opportunity. Andrew will actually pay you out. It is not, you're not trading real money, but he'll pay you as if you were trading real money. That's a pretty awesome deal. Can't get better than that, right? So free money is pretty good. So if you're interested in that, just put hashtag Carlos and you'll get entered for the draw. We got 132 entries right now. I'll give it another minute, let you guys get in on this. Look at this. The NVDA is back at the 50 moving average. That's often where I like to see it move to. GLW this morning was one of the ones that we mentioned. It really got a good move, didn't it? This thing moved from, what was it at the open? $102 up to $112. So that's a good 10%, $10 move. All right. Here's your opportunity for success and fame. Riches beyond compare. All right. We're gonna close it now. I think we got all the hashtags in. I see you guys still hashtagging, but if you already entered, you only get one entry, so it'll only record you if you haven't done it before. So you don't have to do it multiple times. It's not going to help. All right, we're going to make the draw in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Our winner is Matt Negus. Matt. You're the winner for today.
All right, Matt.
I will let Carlos know that we did a giveaway and that I've got a winner for today, and that he should expect an email from you, and that you'll be able to collect that by emailing carlos@bearbulltraders.com. So there you go, Matt. You can take advantage of that free funded account, and we will get you connected. So cool. Thank you guys for participating. And again, thank you for sticking it out. It's been a little bit of a rough day here. Well, Reddit was one that you mentioned, and it did drop off the open. I do like that move. It's a shame. Again, I wasn't in a better spot. I didn't know that news that you were mentioning this morning, Gary, and thanks for pointing that out, because I did think that there was an opportunity for a drop. You can see it here as it sort of dropped a little bit lower. This morning would have been a decent trade. You could have taken that. Again, you had to wait for that volume, but it did drop. So there's another call. We made some good calls this morning. I wasn't taking them, but there were some good calls. You obviously had your excellent trade on PLTR, and of course you could have wished that.
Yeah,
it
just too
lasted
bad we
longer.
didn't have time to go over my thesis, and I should have partialed more.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You know, and that's the one thing I say about day trading. You don't control how much money you can make. The only thing you well and truly control is how much can you lose. That's the only thing you control.
That's true.
Well, all right, folks. I think it's 11. Thor is waiting on the sidelines. And I have not seen a more consistent trader than Thor in the 5 years I've been trading with Bearable. So
Thor is
let's welcome
pretty,
Thor.
pretty impressive indeed. So
Thor is awesome. Thor is awesome.
There. We got to get him in.
Well, you know, I mean, I may not be the smartest person, but I'm good at following rules, thank God. So, you know, I lean into what I'm good at.
So Thor, I'm gonna leave you with this. So a lot of us talk about strategy. You're among the few people who talks about a system, which is a whole lot different than strategy.
There you go.
And I tell my mentees, I can teach you a strategy. It's very hard for me to teach you a system, because it's kind of something which you need to understand what you are good at. Right? I mean, I can tell you a system, I can't teach it to you.
Yeah, one of the blessings in my life has been, you know, the endeavor of creating this, you know, this big system that I kind of utilize to trade with. But it's really awesome, and I appreciate that, man. That's great. Thank you so much, man. And I've been enjoying your trade. It's always fun having you out here and doing your trades, because one thing I really like about Gary is I was kind of listening in the main chat room, and you know, we were hearing a lot of, you know, I got really worried, I got really nervous, I really got out, I really got to this and that and this and that, and there was a whole lot of emotional reasons to make decisions. And one thing I love about Gary is that's not why he makes decisions. His statement he just made there, you can't control how much money you're going to make, right? You can only control how you make it, right? Like how you get in, what you're risking, your maximum drawdown, those things you can control. But I think if you start trying to control that, you're trying to control the outcome, and that's not possible. So I love that. So one of the reasons Gary is like one of our like big hitters these days, like coming up in this stuff, is his mindset is in the right spot at all times, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that's because I've learned it the hard way.
Yeah, we both did, man. We both did. I wasn't always, you know, I wasn't always Mr. Follow all the rules. That had to be bludgeoned into me by the market for sure.
All right, I'm gonna leave you with that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Sure. Bye.
All right, Thor, welcome.
Man, hello YouTube. Hey, thanks, Peter. Good to see you, man. How was your trading today?
I really, frankly, I was so distracted with everything that was happening that I just didn't even have an opportunity to jump into a trade. I saw a few things, but trying to manage the program was a little unexpected for me, right? Carlos wasn't going to be here, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, man. I remember many moons ago when I used to cover pre-market when Carlos wasn't there, and it was...
Yeah. Exactly.
It was not okay.
So no worries. That's
no worries.
the way it goes sometimes. So we're good. But anyways, yeah. How's your day going so far?
So my day and your day are very similar today.
Oh,
I actually
okay.
have no trades today.
Really?
So I'm traveling, and on my travel setup, I couldn't get my IBKR for some reason to link up with my platform this morning.
Oh,
So it was only futures trades for me.
okay.
The only call that we had on the pivot system today was a long on Taiwan Semiconductor off of R4 for a breakout, and man, did it work! It was perfect. Only one call today. Up until recently, we just called a potential short setup on SPY, but we're not there yet. But we one long call today on Taiwan Semiconductor, and it worked beautifully. So I just wish I'd have had my equity set up to take advantage of it. But oh well, it's okay. We just make no money today. Had a great day yesterday. Caught a massive melt on RTY, and closed it out at the close. So basically made my month yesterday. So everything else is which I guess it's the end of the month. So technically I didn't make my month. I was hoping to start making next month already, but oh well, we'll have to wait till next month.
There you go. Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's you just take it for what it is, right? Green is green. You gotta like that. I had a good day yesterday as well. I had an all-day trade on NVIDIA short, so I was very happy with that. Probably also lent to me not being too aggressive today, again, with everything else going on. So yeah, those days are always good. And it's foolish to think that good days or bad days don't affect you down the line. We talk about this a lot, right? Like, you got to keep in mind your mental state. And if you had a really bad day yesterday, you're coming in today either looking for revenge or something, right? Same way you think if you have a good day. If you had a good day, you might come in thinking you're invincible, and you sometimes take silly trades.
So Peter, that's true. Those hit me a lot, actually, especially in my past. That it would actually be after a really good day, I'd come in like, well, I had a really good day yesterday, so I'm not really worried about it today, and I would kind of relax, and then the relaxing was actually a problem.
There you go. Yeah. That's another way. So yeah, so it's one of those, the more you could be aware of that in your emotional state, the better you can manage it and put yourself in more of a balanced place to say, I'm going to take the market for what it is. I'm going to look for trade opportunities based on what they present or not, and not force anything. It's so easy to say that, so hard to do.
I mean, that's what separates the pros from the not the pros. It's not knowledge, it's not skill level, it's not any of those things. The pros can just do what they're supposed to do. The novice can't, the pro can. And that's the big difference. But so many traders wash out of the trading game knowing everything they need to know in order to be a successful trader. They just don't become a successful trader because they can't do it. And that's what holds most back.
Yeah. All right, I've got to take a break.
Thank you, sir. Take a break, dude. You've been working your tail off. I'll try to not. I won't. I'll do my best. I won't throw any curveballs at you during the session, so you can headphones off and chill for a little bit, and we'll just do our thing. So it should be a good time.
I'll try and stay on top of it. Got to help you out here, make sure things still run. But I think I've got your screen.
Yeah, we're good.
And what are you sharing? Some social media there? I see you. And
yeah, someone asked how my trade yesterday went, so I just wanted to show everybody. I was actually traveling yesterday, so. But you can see while I was traveling, I shorted RTY right off of a call at R3, and I held it all the way. I closed it out right at the end of the day. So because it didn't quite make it to S3, but it was still, over $5,000, on that one. So it was a lovely trade. So, it really helped me out. So it's, well, we'll take it. So, and I'm looking for something similar to that today. You know what I mean? I want to, I want a really nice, really solid call today. If I'm going to get a call, if I'm going to take a trade, I want it to be beautiful. So, the only trade that I saw today, don't forget, Thor Young MA is my IG. I regularly post trades and some media stuff on there. Gold did not call because it did not open in the right spot. So it was good. It was nice, but it did not open. We needed to open in the CPR to call a range call, and it did not. SPY has potential, but it is not ready yet. It has not gotten to the line. So SPY needs to get to 690, 665 before I'm going to be willing to entertain it for a short. So just kind of keep an eye on it, though. It certainly could be a short. but it is not a short yet. It needs to get all the way to R3. Yeah, gold was a solid play off of S3. It just couldn't call because it didn't open in the wrong spot. Remember, I have a system, right? So I don't modify my system while I'm trading, right? So like after the close today, if I go back and I look and I say, man, I missed like 3 different calls that all would have worked if it had opened it, then I can consider an alteration, right? But I'm not allowed to call an audible while we're in the middle of the game. That's not how this works. You know what I mean? I have to wait. I have to wait till the end of the day. I have to go through my data, make sure it really makes sense. I also have to look for it through the multiple of like the past month, right? And make sure, because the thing is maybe that works today, right? Right? Maybe that works today, right? But maybe it doesn't work tomorrow. You know what I mean? No, I'm not watching. I'm looking at NQ, but we're nowhere near close enough to the level. That's the other issue that SPY is likely going to have right now, is our futures indexes are not in the right spot. So you're going to have a lot of trouble getting the SPY to really sell well because the futures players aren't going to be motivated because we're not at premium yet. Emmanuel, certainly. So the CPR, not CP, the CPR, or the central pivot range, right, is this area right here, right? In order for us to call certain plays, right, like the S3 buy, we need the price to open inside the CPR to buy S3. Since this is a higher, wider range, our 2 plays are going to be the R4 short or the S3 buy, right? But since we opened in the top end of the since we opened above the CPR, Wick went into it and came. The only play, we wouldn't call the S3 with this opening position one way or the other, right? So the R4 short's the only play that's short. The only issue we have is we're not quite at R4 yet. So that would be the signal I would be looking for. I'd be looking for the SPY to rally to R4. If SPY rallies to R4, then I would be willing to entertain taking a short at R4 potentially. Potentially, only if it sets up, right? I'm perfectly happy to not take a trade today. I had a great day yesterday. One thing that's very different between the way I trade and the way many other people trade, I am more of an old school trader. 1 entry, 1 exit. I hold all day across the range. I'm not a trend trader by any means. I'm not a price action trader by any means. I trade premium and discount value areas for large movements across the range. If the daily ATR on SPY is $6 like it is right now, I'm going to try and get $5.50 out of my moves, and I'm going to carry my entire position the entire time. I don't like micromanaging positions. I have I'm very emotionally detached from trading outcomes, so I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I win. I've been stock trading or futures trading for the better part of a decade now. It's in the past decade in the past 6 years, 7 years, I have not had a red month in my entire trading career. So there's just no reason for me to feel like I need to rush into positions or I need to get trades in. It's just not a thing. So we just take our time here. The only good setup, again, like I said today, was Taiwan Semiconductor. Was a beautiful long. Okay, NQ is finally barking at us. Oh, we just need to get so much higher. It's just so far away. So how do I find the ATR? So the ATR, so if you look at my screen right now, every indicator that you see on the screen are mine, right? They're all indicators that I had designed by my developer Bruz, who is the man. So we have Camaria pivot plays. We have really key levels. We have, we didn't make my clock. The little ticker clock that I use, that's from somebody else. We have adaptive. We have our really key levels. We have our adaptive ATR limits. We have our buying and selling detector so that we can read VPA, and we have our ghost candles, which applies volume to our candles so we can read VPA on the fly. Right. So the ATR that I'm talking about is being calculated by adaptive ATR limits. This is a free indicator. If you have TradingView, all you got to do is go on and you can type it in, and that one you can get to. There are also free versions of the CPP as well as the RKL. But the CPP misses the calls and it's missing the configuration. So you have to self-configure it and you just have to learn the system. But otherwise, it works. Buying and selling and ghost candles are all private. So if you want access to those, you can go to my Instagram, ThorYoungMA. I got links there. Also, if you're interested in mentoring with me and my partner in crime, Dr. Charland, Dr. V, we both do our private mentoring through marketalchemists.org. So feel free to go by and check that out. We do one-to-ones, we do group mentoring, all kinds of stuff. We also present inside of Peak Capital. We also present inside of Bearable Traders. And we're so happy to be here helping you with basically anything you need. So yeah. That's a pretty good speech. So right now, like we're gonna have a release that's gonna come out right now. Maybe not everyone. It's gonna be a little bit of a change. We're gonna have an update coming pretty soon. I think maybe tomorrow or the next day. That update is going to change the call behavior on the indicator. So right now you can see this box is drawn telling you, but I really don't want this here right now. What I've noticed with some of my mentees is that by having the box here, we are getting discretionary trades that are being taken by just shorting anywhere inside the box and putting your stop above it, but without hitting the level, it's technically not a call. So what if you're using my system, you're going to want it on ETH, because my calculating system automatically goes for it'll modify for RTH. So you just want it on the ETH because it'll do the rest. So what we're going to do is we're going to take away the box and we're going to wait for it to hit the level. When it hits the level, then we're going to draw the box and send the alert. If that becomes too slow, what we may look at is adding an alert function to allow you to alert upon candidacy. So instead of alerting when it hits, you can have an option that'll say just alert when it becomes a candidate. Like right here, when this red line came on, it became a candidate. So there is an alert for NQ. It's right here. It triggered at 11:12 for me. But it shouldn't have, technically. Right? I actually don't want this to be an alert right now. I want this to go all the way up and hit R4 and then alert. So we're gonna change that, right? So because we're just too far away, and it's gonna create a yeah. Let's do that. Okay. ES is in a higher range, Hot Lava. Yeah. Oh, you're awesome. So Bruz just messaged me and he said there's already the ability to do an alert based on candidacy because he's the effing man and he comes up with this stuff before I even ask for it. Where's that at, buddy? Just so I can show it to him. Oh, okay. Oh, I love it. Okay, so this is how you do it. Let me show you. Okay, thank you, bros. See, everybody, I'm so sorry, but how effing spoiled are we? Right? Like, this is why we're doing this, right? This is why I teamed up with Bruz to do this. I mean, there's just no other indicator set or anywhere where you're going to have it, and you're going to have direct access to the thought, and then like the muscle. You know what I mean? In Bruz, I mean, a lot of people, I don't gush on him enough lately, maybe. A lot of people don't realize that, Bruz is a doctor. I mean, he's got a doctorate in this stuff. I mean, he's crazy high level. You know what I mean? So when you're signed up for these indicators, you can actually converse with him directly as well when you have questions through our access. So hopefully it's already in the current public release. If not, it'll be in the next one. So basically, here's what it'll be. So you go to alert. You would build the alert. You'd select your watch list. Your condition would be CPP. Yep. And then instead of any alert function call, look right here. Candidate play appearing. So, and then you create using that. You could even have them both up, right? So this one you can go in and modify. So change the message and say, PivotBot can say, we have a candidate, right? Save. You can come up and modify this one, and you could say alert, right? Or play called or something, right? And save those. So you can actually run those right next to each other. Oop, there's our play called. Ta-da. That's funny. Did ES just get into its spot? Or was that just by chance? No, ES isn't in the right spot. So I don't know what happened there, but we'll get rid of you. I like that we have a candidate. I think that's fun. And then I'm going to rebuild this one. Will it do both at the same? ES, price, CPP, any alert, same as chart. Only one way to find out. Yeah. Thank you, Halava. If you're a Bearable Traders members, all of the alerts go into the chat room also, right? So all of the alerts that I'm sending, if you're in BBT, they're coming. We actually have a chat room tab that's just for the pivot bot in BBT. No, Tesla was a no play for me today. So Tesla was nice because if it had opened a little lower and then squeezed up to R3, it would have been an R3 short for sure. But it is not an S3 long. This is in a lower, wider range. So we do not buy Tesla today. Tesla is a sell today. Right. So we would not want to buy Tesla off of S3 today. It's not working. Right. So unfortunately, Tesla is just not a play. We didn't get a big enough squeeze to give us a good short location. But I mean, if it had, it would have done the R3 to S3 perfectly. It just didn't do it. So the only play today that was valid, that was a call, was Taiwan Semiconductor. The first time we were selling too much. So this is why the buying and selling detector is kind of very necessary. So you can see when we opened with a lot of selling, right? Too much, but we exhausted our sellers at the open. This was the big key here. As we tried to make new lows and we made lower lows, we deviated. We actually did not make lower lows in volume. So the response to that being buying, and it actually did initiate a buy. So you can see we re-offered the level, and when we offered, we sustained volume fairly well there. So I would have preferred for this to have stayed buying, but we just offered into the sell and then started buying again. So anywhere in here, I would have loved to, that perfect wick to R4 and then the new 1 minute high there would likely have been my entry on this one if I had my equity set up on me. That would have worked out really, really nicely. I don't have INTC on my watch list because unfortunately, it like MU is kind of like the ghost of Super Mario Brothers. They only move when I'm not watching them. Ah, I hate this ticker the way it's set up. This is so ugly. So it's so ugly. Like I would have wanted this to open it did open above R4, which is why, and it did not close these wicks below it, which is why it's still signal. Because it was within the threshold because of the wicks and it not closing below the level. So it did not invalidate. But it was also not like a very good buy either. Right. But I mean, these top side wicks and these bottom side wicks, that is just ugly. We then gave up ground on very low volume, and now we're reoffering this. This is not good for me. We're still selling. I don't like this one. ASTS. There for now, here's my settings if you would like them real quick. But yeah, I think what we're generically doing is we try and make my settings the default settings on most of the tickers. But yeah, over time, I think we will work towards having a Thor mode on most often, like so that it just makes it a little easier. But I'm with you. So there's my top settings, and then there's the bottom settings. I mean, it's working right now. We're starting to buy. It might work. I mean, we've got the ATR in it. Let's look at the order book on INTC. So one of the great things for those of you who use Chrome, I highly recommend loading Trading Terminals Atlas through Chrome because you can create it as a standalone add-on and it allows it to pop out and work more as a program. So you can see this is running as an extension right now, which is really nice. It cleans it up and it lets it like read really, really well. Atlas for me is just blowing me away on a regular basis. As far as what it does, I mean, it's just wild. INTC. So the order book for me is my way of looking at market intention. right? So, and so what do I mean by that? Are we accumulating or are we distributing? Right? If we've got a lot of orders to the top side, large orders, then it's most likely we're accumulating. If we have lots of downside orders, it's most likely we're distributing. So when I look at INTC, we have kind of a small issue on INTC, which is that the institutional book is fairly balanced, which means it doesn't seem like we have a real reason to go one way or the other. But that being said, on the shorter time frame, we are more bearish than bullish, right? So you can see we don't have a lot of order structure to the top side here, right? Most of our orders are all on a limit below 44. So right now, it looks like we're going to sell. We're absorbing large buys as well, and there's a big order at 43. So if we can't get enough selling to come in, we squeeze for 45. But right now, the way that the specialists are handling this action, it really looks more like they're going to want to sell 44. On futures, I use the 100 tier. On equities, I use the nickel tier. Just consistently. So look at SPY right now. SPY just is at all-time high right now. We just pushed into the higher, wider range right up near R4. So remember earlier, I was coming into the chat room at BBT and I was saying we're getting into a range to sell. This is what I'm talking about. This isn't really about momentum or price action or any of these other things. We are in an algorithmic market. The market is completely driven by algorithms. They do the same thing the same way over and over again. Once you learn to speak their language, it's really not overtly complicated. So the market is split into ranges by, areas of premium, areas of discount, and areas of value. It's a big auction. So when you're trading momentum, you're basically just listening to the crowd. And when people start yelling buy, you start buying. You have no idea of what the value actually is. You're not concerned with what the value is. You're not concerned, is this a good thing to hold for a while? Is this, or you're just going to buy it and you're just going to go with the emotion of the market, right? Momentum trading is emotional trading, right? So, and you have to keep that in mind. Take Paris, for instance. Paris is an insanely emotional trader. He does a very good job of managing his risk, which honestly, I'm so happy for. But whenever he talks about the way he trades, he uses emotional terms all the time. I was really scared about. I didn't think this. I need to lock in profit because it makes me feel better. Just tons of emotional trading. Paris would never be able to trade my trading style. It would be almost impossible for him to trade my trading style because he would have to become significantly more okay with losing in order to do it. Right. So unfortunately, but I would never be able to trade Paris's trading style because I don't like it. No, it doesn't fit my trading style, right? I'm not an emotional trader. So I don't like buying quickly and selling quickly and buying quickly and selling quickly. That gives me anxiety. I would rather just buy. So this is why it's really important to find a trading system that you really resonate with, that really fits yours. If you're a very emotional person, right, and you're someone who lacks, maybe some of those, maybe some of the broader understanding of how the market works, maybe momentum is something that works for you. But for me, it's the least efficient way to make money. You're going to put in a lot of size and you're going to instantly dilute your positions, and maybe you lose less or less often, but you're going to make a lot less money than you would have if you would have just held for your winners. So, but again, it's all about personality and what you resonate and what you fit with. You have to be a very secure individual to trade the way I trade. Right. So it's very, if you're very prone to making random decisions, if you're very prone to getting a lot of anxiety, all of these things, you probably shouldn't be trading. But you certainly don't want to trade my trading system if that's the case. You want to take your time and sort those things out. you have trouble sorting those things out, I got someone for you. My partner, Dr. Vanessa. feel free if you're having trouble with your head game. She is one of the only, if not the only, active trading PhD in psychology that I'm aware of. You know what I mean? So if you're having trouble with your head game, that's who you should be talking about. There's no one else, as far as I'm concerned, in the market that's qualified right now. The vast majority of the performance coaches out there do not trade, so they do not know what you're going through. They're not day traders. They don't know how to trade. They tried to trade, but they couldn't do it successfully. Dr. V is a real trader. She hit the same RTY trade I hit yesterday. You know, she and you know, and I've can directly relate to how good she is at but she uses real things like cognitive behavioral therapy and actual stuff, because she is a practicing PhD, you know what I mean, in psychology. She has private practice. She works with non-traders on their issues every single day. So if you're having those emotional things, all of that stuff you can find at Market Alchemists. You know, information about Vanessa's stuff there as well as mine. So, so NVIDIA about to blow its top off. Let's look at NVIDIA. Access to nothing, not with TOS, no. NQ could be an R4 reversal today. It's possible. It's just not close enough. Can oil be a short? I hope so. I need something to happen, right? Ooh. Oh, we're getting close to R6. What's going on with lower narrow? I think we opened too low, maybe, to call this. For us to call this, we would have wanted it to open more mid-level and got to R6 quickly. I do kind of like it. Thank you, bros. Gold was nice. I liked gold a lot. I wanted to take gold so bad. It just didn't call. It didn't call because we opened too low. But otherwise, this sweep down to S3, the ISO pivot, then the reoffer, I mean, it was really pretty. It was a solid long. I don't have any trades today, unfortunately, or fortunately. Nothing. Taiwan Semiconductor was the only call that looked good, and I didn't have my equity set up. So I actually have no trades today. Yeah, I trade equities with DAS, which I don't have on my travel laptop. It's just it just doesn't work with my MacBook, and I got sick of running parallel, so I'd rather just not trade equities when I travel. So it's okay. Netflix. Oh, a S4 short on Netflix looks fun. It opened too low. Like if this had opened in the CPR, this would be a call right now. Trading view. Man, crude could be fun. All right, Netflix. Yeah, yeah. Let's look at Netflix's book. It's bearish. Good order structure to the downside. See where we have a void of orders here. So it doesn't really look like we're super keen on going above 85 right now. All of our solid structures to the downside towards 84. So I do like that. I mean, it does look like we want to go to 84, and that's where we bounced earlier, right off of that big order. So, I mean, that looks good. Yeah, it just didn't open high enough for me to call it. That's the thing with the system, right? When you have a system, you got to draw lines in the sand, which means you're going to have days where it just doesn't work. But that's okay, right? Your job here is not to trade, right? You are not a trader, okay? Coming at you now, all the news you don't want to hear. You're not a trader. You know what I mean? You're a loser, right? We're all losers. I am the king of the losers, right? The sexiest of the losers. No, I'm kidding. I'm a loser. You're a loser. We're losers, baby. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we do. We lose. You know what I mean? The reason why some days you just don't trade, right? Some days you do trade, right? But you're gonna lose if you're utilizing a system like mine, for instance. You're going to lose. Let me give you can I give you guys a little story time? Do you mind? Thor emojis for story time. If I want to give you a little story time on a growth thing I had as a trader. All right, story time. Only Yosef wants story time. Okay, thank you, Beth. Okay, so just because of, like, no story time, please. This is horrible. So Gonzalo, are you in here? G Vorbeck, I see you. Gonzalo's in here. Gonzalo will back me up on this because he was around me. He was one of my buddies. He's been in BBT for a long time, so he's been here. There was a time period where I went through a year and a half without having a single red day. It's a true story, real shit. There was a time period where I went through a year and a half without having a singular red day. Wild, right? Certified. My hit rate was north of 80% at times. Pretty spectacular. And I got to enjoy what it felt like to be a non-stop winner. Now, Gonzalo, since you know me so well, can you inform the chat room of what the major issue was? What did not happen? I'm going to front run this one. I didn't make any money. I mean, I made money, but I didn't make like money. You know what I mean? I had a really high hit rate, but I did that because as soon as I was in a position, I would immediately move to break even and I'd immediately start partialing. So I had a great system. I've been using my system since 2020. I published my book in 2022, right? But my RVR balance was never good. I could never win the attritional battle, right? I could never win the attritional battle because I wasn't holding winners. I was diluting my positions. And because I only traded like $100 risk per trade, if you're trading a $10 million account, you know what I mean? Then you can risk $100,000, make $20,000 and look badass. Right? But when you're trading a $30,000 account and you're risking $100, there is no way to partial that so that when you show people your P&L, it looks awesome. Right? It just wasn't a thing. right? Like there's a big difference, right? When you, and a lot of the online people that you often follow, they show you these P&Ls. I mean, $30,000, $50,000 today. But what you're not recognizing is that they risked $100,000 or 200,000, 50,000, 100,000 to make that money. But because they have such a large account, right? You want a percent of your account, right? You want a 0.5% to 1% of your account, right? So, but when you have a $10 million account, you don't need a 0.5%. You could do like 0.02%, and it would still look like thousands of dollars, right? So, right, exactly. So it's a big difference, right? So what changed, right? The first change came with recognizing how much statistically I was leaving on the table. So I modified and stopped using break even entirely. I have not used break even, I think now in, I want to say 2 years or 3 years. It's been since I've ever, like, I don't have it on my screen. I don't have a hotkey for it. Like, break even for me is like, I feel like at some point in time, there were two specialists that were like sitting outside the NYSE. They're both like smoking weed or something. And they're just like, man, like, how do you think we could get people to get out of a price, like their position at the same exact price they got into it at? Oh, I don't know, man. We could maybe we should call it like stop profit. No, not stop profit. They'll hate that. That won't work. We can't do stop. What do you think? Um Stop loss? Stop loss? No. It's not stop loss because they're not actually losing anything. So we don't want you like so we don't want to say stop loss because they're not gonna I got it. We'll call it break even, right? Break even. Wait, but do we break even? Well, technically, no, because when they stop out at the same price, there's still commissions. So they get out at the same exact price, they pay to buy, and they pay to sell, and we can just do the exchange and make money. What a fantastic idea, right? So your break even, right, is a complete arbitrary decision you're making on your entry and exit tolerance. It's horrible. Don't do it, right? Use levels. Use levels. If you're getting in at all-time high, right, then your stop should be if it gets above all-time high, right? It shouldn't matter how much money is on the line. That's your stop, right? So why risk, why put a wider stop? That's where you're wrong, right? You could use a wider stop and then tighten it, risk less, right? So you can actually risk less to make more, right? But what happens is you're giving up positioning, right? Because you don't have a confident way to play the market, right? So break even for me is the devil, right? Break even is the devil, right? It's the worst possible thing you can do to your position. If you're gonna get out for a reason. You know what I mean? Like for instance, it made a new 5-minute high. I mean, I wouldn't use it, but that's a reason, right? Not it came back to the same price I already got into. You should enter for a technical reason. You should exit for a technical reason. If you have trouble with that, hide your P and L. You don't have to have it show on your trading view. You don't have to have it show in DOS. You can change it so it doesn't show either, right? Have your fixed risk hotkey calculate the risk for you and then trade that. Use technical levels, right? And then you'll have a shot at holding. But what happened? So back to story time. I got rid of break even, right? I think it's still story time. I got rid of break even, right? And after I got rid of break even, I switched to doing 4-to-1s. And I did that for a very long time, right? Maybe a couple of years. My hit rate went from 80+% down to 60%. Uh-oh. I'm losing a lot more. I must be making a lot less money now, right? Because I'm losing more. since I'm losing more, I'm going to be making less money. Wrong. It's not how that works, right? Because I'm hitting still at 60%, but now my average is 4R, not 2R, right? Right? I can absorb more loss because of the profit targets. So moving forward now, right? So now I don't even go for 4-to-1. I actually trade levels, right? If I'm going short at R3, I'm going to go for S3, right? If it's a wide range, I may even go for, if it's a narrow range, I'm going to go for ATRs, right? I might short like S4 on a breakdown. I'm going to go for ATR low, right? I want all the move. So because of this, my hit rate, now here's an interesting thing. My January hit rate, in January, I only took so far, if I don't take any trades today, in January, I will have taken only 15 trades in January. Only 15 trades in all of January. Those trades had an average hit of 14.5R. Hello. I had one trade this month that was a 30 Rs trade. And I ran a 60% hit rate. I trade live 3 times a week in Peak Capital. And then in my private mentoring group 2 times a week. 15 trades all day. And now for the coup de grace, I made more money this month than I made in my first 6 years of trading. I know, I'll say it again. I made more money this month than I made in my first 6 years of trading. Now, of my trades, right, of those trades I took, a handful of them were losers, right? I lost 3 of them, right? 3 or 4 of them. It's a 60% hit rate. Right? So I make more money than I've ever made, taking the least number of trades I've ever taken and not touching my positions, just letting them go for targets. That's it. That's the secret sauce. Right? It's that. Private mentoring, if you want to do it with me, just go to my website, marketalchemist.org. That's my I have a private mentoring group that I share with Dr. Vanessa. In our group mentoring that we do together. We actually do morning analytics and everything with our group, as well as she does mindset. If you're looking for one-on-ones, I got links there too. The target is based on just levels. So anytime I'm going for a target, if I'm shorting R3, I'm going to be going for S3. Unless ATR low is inside of S3, then I go for ATR low, right? If I'm going short R4, I'm going to target CP. Unless ATR is inside of CP, then I go for ATR. No. Futures are not any better. Equities are great. It works. Actually, my system works the best on equities. It works really well on futures also, but equities is the best. The only call that we've really had today. Oh, I deleted my list. Crap. My log. Oh, it's still yeah. The only calls we've had today that was viable was Taiwan Semiconductor. And it worked beautifully. Almost all the way to ATR high. I mean, what a move. But it would have been an R4 to R6. So ATR, Beth, is just your average trading range. We do a 14-day look back. We measure the high and low from the session, and it's the industry standard. It's not complicated. Many institutional algorithms use it, if not most of them, right? So it's just a really nice, easy spot to hit it, right? I don't know if NQ has a good time to go short, my friend. It would need to get all the way to 26,162 for it to be viable. And at that point, you're making higher highs after 10:30 on what has been an otherwise fairly northward moving market today. So there could be a big waterfall in the afternoon, but it needs to get higher before that's a thing. We haven't made it to our ATR high or R4 yet. We also have monthly R4 up here, so it's a big selling range. There's a lot here, but we're not there yet. No, so I'm risking anywhere between 500 and 1,000 now on my risk. So my maximum positioning is $1,000 for an entry, but I rarely risk $1,000. So what I do is my bracket will calculate my maximum risk, and like let's say I went short here and my stop was outside of the pink box here is telling me where I'd prefer my stop to be up here. So if my stop's way out here, I don't need that to get run to know if I'm right or wrong. So I'll drag that down into the proper spot and save myself some money. I'm the only trader who partials their losers. Right? I don't partial my winners, I partial my losers. Right? So I don't need it to hit my max loss for me to know if I'm right or wrong. I'm a technical trader. If it loses the level, I'm wrong. Right? So I can just let that trade go and then get back in again. Mentoring is at www.marketalchemists.org. Oh, I can't type. .org, not .rog, but you get it. So, but if you're also interested, I live trade 3 times a week in Peak Capital, right? So if you're interested in trading live with me outside of that, also Peak Capital is another good spot to be. We had a couple trades. The RTY trade I took yesterday I was actually I was working with Peak Capital when we took that one. Is it worth going to Atlas? So hot lava, here's the thing for me on Atlas. Atlas is really fast, and I actually find it easier to read. What do I mean by partial losers? Let me show you. So I actually find Atlas really easy to read, right? I actually like Atlas quite a bit. I mean, having a lifetime subscription to something is pretty amazing. I'm not sure if the difference between the two of them would be worth not using your lifetime subscription to the other one, perhaps. I hate to say that, you know what I mean? But I also can't bullshit you either. But I personally believe Atlas is faster and it reads better. But you know what I mean? You're talking about going from no expense to an expense. You know what I mean? Just to have it a little cleaner. You know what I mean? But if you're not like that, then I would definitely say use it. I would prefer Atlas over the others. But it's hard for me to say that one way or the other. You know what I mean? All right, I'm just looking at some stuff here. Yeah, I mean, the market's still just boring. I was hoping crude could get all the way to R6. That could have even been something. But today's just going to be a no trader. No bigs. So Peak Peak Capital. I think it's just peakcapital.com. Peak Capital is BBT's proprietary wing, but they also do now what's called the boot camp now. So you can go into Peak Capital. They actually have staff there that will help you set up your platform, help you put your trade book together and do all that stuff. And then I do 3 live trading sessions a week, and then I do a presentation as well. So the grand theme here, right, on everything I've been talking about is that the best loser wins in trading, right? What makes trading so difficult? We're going to wrap out on this one, right? What makes trading so difficult is you have to be a loser, right? You have to be the best loser, right? I mean, like if you are interested in winning and winning at trading is how you define yourself as an individual and you provide yourself worth, right? Then you're going to struggle at trading because the trading is here to take advantage of people with that mindset. You know what I mean? What you have to do is you actually have to put together your trading system and you need to honor it. And you need to, and you need to believe it works, right? My system works because I believe it works. It does. Like I know it works. I've seen it every day. I see it all the time. I have Tom Hoger, Best Loser Wins. Great freaking book. I not only have I seen it work, we have over 150 subscribers to my indicator set right now. And of our sample group that we're running in there, we're running an insanely solid hit rate for them. I think of that group since November, as we've been tracking, we're pushing like 140 R or something collectively in this group. Right. We're constantly testing stuff out and really looking at, the best ways to do the cams. So it's working. It's working for my mentees. It's working for the people we're teaching in Alchemist. It's working for, the folks who are using the indicator. Just to kind of just to point this out, since bringing the indicator online since November, we've only had like 4 people or 5 people unsubscribe from the indicator since we brought it online. Oh, since November. That's a full since we started collecting data in November. So it is working, and we have Bruz constantly innovating, me constantly innovating, making sure we're going to bring you the best user experience possible. Right. So I appreciate you all. Come by Bear Bull Traders, come by Peak, see me in Alchemist, whatever resonates with you. I look forward to being a continued part of your trading journey. Otherwise, YouTube every day, 11 to 12. Come find me right here. All Lambos and Garbage Trucks gets priority. Friday, I'm going to do a drawing for a free hour of mentoring with me so that person can come back and tell you how fun it is. So I'm going to do that. And we'll get out of here tomorrow. I'll get back into that trader gate. Come by the Great Trader. Well, I'll detail it out when I have time.
Thanks, Thor. Have a great day, everybody.
Much love.